Hi guys, everyone. Welcome to Hamlet Livestream. The roles are going to be Hamlet is played by Binyamin Bixon, Ophelia Sarit Perl, Claudius and player king Malka Sigal, Gertrude and player queen is Joey Jaroslawicz, Polonius is Molly Pocrass, and Osric is Molly Pocrass. Horatio, first player and captain, is Ora Damelin. Laertes and Fransisco, St. Schwartz. Rosencrantz and other gravediggers, Tali Kozlowski. Marcellus, Lucianus, Voltimand, messenger, sailor, is Yedidah. Fortinbras, Cornelius, doctor, lord, prologue, Devor Melman. Ghost, gravedigger, and ambassador is Chaim. And Bernardo, Reynaldo, Guildenstern, and gentleman, and stage directions is by me, Ariela Greengart. Welcome, everybody. And we hope that you enjoy the play. So let's get started. The Tragedy of Hamlet, Prince of Denmark, Act 1, Scene 1. Enter Bernardo and Fransisco. Who's there?
Wait, I need the spot that you're at. Are you on mute? Everyone being seen. It is everyone being seen now. Nay, answer me. Stand and unfold thyself.
Long live the king.
Bernardo?
He?
You come most carefully upon your hour.
'Tis now struck 12. Get thee to bed, Fransisco.
For this relief, much thanks. 'Tis bitter cold, and I am sick at heart.
Have you had quiet guard?
Not a mouse stirring.
Well, good night. If you do meet Horatio and Marcellus, the rivals of my watch, bid them make haste.
I think I hear them. Stand ho! Who is there?
Friends to this ground.
And liegemen to the Dane.
Give you good night.
Oh, farewell, honest soldier, who hath relieved you?
Bernardo hath my place. Give you good night.
Hello, Bernardo.
Nay, what, is Horatio there?
A piece of him.
Welcome, Horatio. Welcome, good Marcellus.
What, has this thing appeared again tonight?
I have seen nothing.
Horatio says 'tis but our fantasy, and will not let belief take hold of him, touching this dreaded sight twice seen of us. Therefore I have entreated him along with us to watch the minutes of this night, that if again this apparition come, he may approve our eyes and speak to it.
Tush, tush, 'twill not appear.
Sit down a while, and let us once again assail your ears that are so fortified against our story, what we have 2 nights seen.
Well, sit down and let us hear Bernardo speak of this.
Last night of all, when yon same star that's westward from the pole had made his course to illume that part of heaven, where now it burns Marcellus and myself, the bell then beating 1.
Peace, break thee off, look where it comes again.
And the same figure like the king that's dead.
Thou art a scholar, speak to it, Horatio.
Looks he not like the king? Mark it, Horatio.
Most like it. It harrows me with fear and wonder.
You would be spoke to.
Speak to it, Horatio.
What art thou that usurpest this time of night together with that fair and warlike form in which the majesty of buried Denmark did sometimes march? By heaven, I charge thee, speak!
It is offended.
See, it stalks away.
Say, speak, speak, I charge thee, speak!
'Tis gone and will not answer.
How now, Horatio, you tremble and look pale. Is not this something more than fantasy? What think you on it?
For my God, I might not disbelieve without the sensible and true avouch of my own eyes.
Is it not like the king?
As thou art to that to thyself, such was the very armor he had on when he ambitious Norway combated. So frowned he once when in angry power he smote the sledded polwalks on the ice. 'Tis strange.
Thus twice before, and jumped at this dead hour, with martial stalk hath he gone by our watch.
In what particular thought to work I know not, but in the gross and scope of mine opinion this bodes some strange eruption to our state.
Good now, sit down, and tell me he that knows, why this same strict and most observant watch so nightly toils the subject of the land, and why such daily cast of brazen cannon and foreign mart for implements of war, why such impressive shipwrights whose sore task does not divide the Sunday from the week. What might be toward that this sweaty haste doth make the night joint labor with the day? Who is it that can inform me?
That can I. At least the whisper goes so. Our last king, whose image even but now appeared to us, was, as you know, by Fortinabras of Norway, thereto pricked on by a most emulate pride, dared to the combat in which our valiant Hamlet, for so in this side the known world esteemed him, did slay Fortinabras, who by a sealed combat, well ratified by law and heraldry, did forfeit with his life all those lands, which he stood seized of to the conqueror, against which a moiety competent was gauged by our king, which had returned to the inheritance of Fortinabras. Had he been vanquisher by the same comrade in the carriage of the article designed, his fell to Hamlet. Now, sir, young Fortinabras of unimproved metal, hot and full, half in the skirts of Norway here and there, struck up a list of lawless resolutes for food and diet to some enterprise that hath a stomach in it, to which is no other as it doth well appear unto our state. But to recover of us by strong hand and in terms compulsatory these foresaid lands, so by his father lost. And this I take it is the main motive of our preparations, the source of our watch, and the chief head of this post haste and rummage in the land.
I think it be no other, but even so. Well, may it sort that this pretentious figure comes armed through our watch like the king, that was and is the question of these wars.
A mote it is to trouble the mind's eye. In the most high and palmy state of Rome, a little ere the mighty Julius fell, the grave stood tenantless, and the sheeted dead did squeak and gibber in the Roman streets, as stars with trains of fire and dews of blood, disasters in the sun. And the moist star upon whose influence Neptune's empire stands was sick almost to doomsday with eclipse, and even like the precursor of feared events as harbingers proceeding like the fates, and prologue to the omen still coming on, have heaven and earth together demonstrated unto our climatures and countrymen. But soft, behold, lo, where it comes again, I'll cross through it, blast me, stay, illusion! If thou hast any sound or use of voice, speak to me. If there be any good thing to be done that may to thee do ease and grace to me, speak to me. If thou art privy to thy country's fate, which happily foreknowing may avoid, oh, speak! Or if thou hast abhorred in thy life extorted treasure in the womb of earth, for which they say, whose spirits oft walk in death, speak of it. Stay and speak, stop it, Marcellus!
Shall I strike it with my partisan?
Doeth it will not stand.
'Tis here.
'Tis here.
'Tis gone. We do it wrong being so majestical to offer it the show of violence, for it is as the air invulnerable, and our vain blows malicious mockery.
It was about to speak when the cock crew.
And then it started like a guilty thing. Upon a fearful summons I have heard the cock, that is, the trumpet to the morn, doth with his lofty and shrill-sounding throat awake the god of day, and at his warning, whether in sea or fire, in earth or air, the extravagant and erring spirit heeds to his confine, and of the truth therein, this present object made probation.
It faded on the crowing of the cock. Some say that ever against that season comes, where our Saviour's birth is celebrated, this bird of dawning singeth all night long, and then they say no spirit dare stir abroad, the nights are wholesome, then no planet strike, no fairy take nor witch hath power to charm, so hallow and so gracious is that time.
So I have heard, and do in part believe it. But look, the morn in russet mantle cloud walks o'er the dew of yon high eastward hill. Break we our watch up, and by my advice, let us impart what we have seen tonight unto young Hamlet, for upon my life the spirit dumb to us will speak to him. Do you consent we shall acquaint him with it, as needful in our loves fitting our duty?
Let's do it, I pray, and I this morning know where we shall find it most convenient.
They exit. Scene 2. Flourish. Enter Claudius, King of Denmark, Gertrude the Queen, the Consul as Polonius, and his son Laertes Hamlet, with others among them Voltimand and Cornwall.
Though yet of Hamlet, our dear brother's death, the memory be green, that it us befitted to bear our hearts in grief. Our whole kingdom to be contracted in one brow of woe. Yet so far hath discretion fought with nature, that we with wisest sorrow think on him, together with remembrance of ourselves. Therefore, our sometime sister, now our queen, the imperial jointress to this warlike state, have we, as 'twere with a defeated joy, with an auspicious and a dropping eye, with mirth in funeral, and with dirge in marriage, in equal scale, weighing delight and dole, taken to wife. Nor have we herein barred your better wisdoms, which have freely gone with this affair along. For all our thanks, Now follows that you know. Young Fortinbras, holding a weak supposal of our worth, or thinking by our late dear brother's death our state to be disjoint and out of frame, colleagued with this dream of his advantage, he hath not failed to pester us with message importing the surrender of those lands lost by his father, with all bonds of law, to our most valiant brother. So much for him. Now for ourself, and for this time of meeting. Thus much the business is. We have here writ to Norway, uncle of young Fortinbras, who, impotent and bedrid, scarcely hears of his nephew's purpose to suppress his further gait herein, and that the levies, the lists, and full proportions are all made out of his subject. And here we dispatch you, good Cornelius, and you, Voltimand, for bearers of this greeting to old Norway, giving to you no further personal power to business with the king, more than the scope of these dilated articles allow. Farewell, and let your haste commend your duty.
In that and in all things we shall show our duty.
We doubt it nothing. Heartily farewell. And now, Laertes, what's the news with you? You told us of some suit. What is it, Laertes? You cannot speak of reason to the Dane and lose your voice. What wouldst thou beg, Laertes? That shall not be my offer, not thy asking. The head is more native to the heart. The head is more native to the heart, the hand more instrumental to the mouth than is the throne of Denmark to thy father. What wouldst thou have, Laertes?
My dear lord, your leave and favor to return to France, from whence thou willingly I came to Denmark to show my duty in your coronation. Yet now I must confess, that duty done, my thoughts and wishes bend again towards France, and bow them to your gracious leave and pardon.
Have you your father's leave? What says Polonius?
He hath, my lord, wrung from me my slow leave by laborsome petition, and at last upon his will I sealed my hard consent. I do beseech you, give him leave to go.
Take thy fair hour, Laertes. Time be thine, and thy best graces spend it at thy will. But now, my cousin Hamlet and my son.
Little more than kin and less than kind.
How is it that the clouds still hang on you?
Not so, my lord, I am too much in the sun.
Good Hamlet, cast thy nighted colour off, and let thine eye look like a friend on Denmark. Do not ever with thy veiled lids. Seek for thy noble father in the dust. Thou knowest 'tis common, all that lives must die, passing through nature to eternity.
Aye, madam, it is common.
If it be, why seems it so particular with thee?
Seems, madam? Nay, it is. I know not seems. 'Tis not alone my inky cloak, good mother, nor customary suits of solemn black, nor windy suspiration of forced breath, no, nor fruitful river in the eye, nor the dejected habit of the visage, together with all forms, moods, shapes of grief that can denote me truly. These indeed seem, for they are actions that a man might play, but I have that within which passes show, these but the trappings and the suits of woe.
'Tis sweet and commendable in your nature, Hamlet, to give these mourning duties to your father, but you must know, your father lost a father, that father lost his, and the survivor bound in filial obligation for some term to do obsequious sorrow. But to persever in obstinate condolement is a course of impious stubbornness. 'Tis unmanly grief. It shows a will most incorrect to heaven, a heart unfortified, a mind impatient, an understanding simple and unschooled, for what we know must be and is as common as any, the most vulgar thing to sense. Why should we in our peevish opposition take it to heart? Fie, 'tis a fault to heaven, a fault against the dead, a fault to nature, to reason most absurd, whose common theme is death of fathers, and who still hath cried from the first course till that he that died today. This must be so. We pray you, throw to earth this unprevailing woe, and think of us as a father. For let the world take note, you are the most immediate to our throne, and with no less nobility of love than that which dearest father bears his son, do I impart toward you. For your intent in going back to school in Wittenberg, it is most retrograde to our desire, and we beseech you, bend you to remain here in the cheer and comfort of our chiefest courtier, cousin, and our son.
Let not thy mother lose her prayers, Hamlet. I pray thee stay with us. Go not to Wittenberg.
I shall on my best obey you, madam.
Why, 'tis a loving and a fair reply. Be as ourself in Denmark. Madam, Come, this gentle and unforced accord of Hamlet sits smiling to my heart, in grace whereof no jocund health but Denmark drinks today, but the great cannon to the clouds shall tell, and the kings rouse the heavens shall bruit again, bespeaking earthly thunder. Come away.
Oh, that this too sullied flesh would melt, thaw, and resolve itself into dew, or that the everlasting had not fixed his cannon against the self-slaughter. Oh, God, how weary, stale, flat, and unprofitable seem to me all the uses of this world. Fie on it, fie. 'Tis an unweeded garden that grows to seed. Things rank and gross in nature possess it merely. But should come to this, but 2 months dead, nay, nor not so much as not 2. So excellent a king that was to this Hyperion to a satyr, so loving to my mother that he might not beteem the winds of heaven that visit her face too roughly. Heaven and earth must I remember. Why, she would hang on him as if increase of appetite had grown, by what it fed on, and yet within a month, let me not think on it. Frailty thy name is, woman! A little month or year, the shoes were old with which she followed my poor father's body, like Niobe, all tears. Why, she, oh God, even she, oh God, a beast that wants discourse of reason would have more longer. Married with my uncle, my father's brother, but no more like my father than I to Hercules. Then a month, yet the salt of most unrighteous tears had left the flushing in her gallant eyes. She married. Oh, most wicked speed to post with such dexterity to incestuous sheets. It is not good. It is not, nor it cannot come to good, but break my heart, for I must hold my tongue.
Hail to your lordship.
I'm glad to see you well. Horatio, or do I forget myself?
The same, my lord, and your poor servant ever.
Oh, sir, my good friend, I'll change that name with you. What makes you from Wittenberg? Horatio, what makes you from Wittenberg, Horatio? Marcellus?
My good lord.
I'm very glad to see you. Good even, sir. But what faith make you from Wittenberg?
A truant disposition, my lord.
I would not hear your enemies say so, nor shall you do my ear that violence to make it truster of your own report against yourself. I know you are no truant, nor is your fair Elsinore. We'll teach you to drink deep ere you depart.
My lord, I came to see your father's funeral.
I prithee, do not mock me, fellow student. Think it was to see my mother's wedding.
Indeed, my lord, it followed hard upon.
Thrift, Horatio. The funeral baked meats did coldly furnish forth the marriage tables. But I had met my dearest foe in heaven, or ever did I seen that day, Horatio. My father. Methinks I see my father.
Where, my lord?
In my mind's eye, Horatio.
I saw him once. He was a goodly king.
He was a man. Take him for all in all. I shall not look upon his like again.
My lord, I think I saw him yesternight.
Saw who?
My lord, the king, your father.
The king, my father?
Seizing your admiration for a while with an attent ear, till I may deliver upon the witness of these gentlemen this marvel to you.
For God's love, let me hear.
2 nights together had these gentlemen, Marcellus and Bernardo, on their watch in the dead wastes in the middle of the night, been thus encountered. A figure like your father, armed at point exactly, cap up high, appears before them, and with a solemn march goes slow and stately by them. Thrice he walked by their oppressed and fear surprised eyes, within his truncheon's length, whilst they, distilled almost to jelly with the act of fear, stand dumb and speak not to him. This to me in dreadful secrecy in part they did, and I with them the 3rd night kept the watch, where, as they had delivered both in time form of the thing, each word made true and good, the apparition comes. I know your father. These hands are not more alike.
But where was this?
My
My lord, above the platform where we watch.
Did you not speak to it?
My lord, I did, but answer made it none. Yet once methought it lifted up its head and did address itself to motion like it would speak. But even then the morning cock crew loud, and at the sound it shrank in haste away and vanished from our sight.
'Tis very strange.
As I do live, my honored lord, 'tis true. And we did think it writ down our duty to let you know of it.
Indeed, sirs, but this troubles me. Hold you the watch tonight.
We do, my lord.
Armed, say you?
Armed, my lord.
My lord.
From top to toe?
My lord, from
Lord,
head
from
to
head
foot.
to foot.
Then you saw not his face.
Oh yes, my lord, he wore his beaver up.
What, he looked frowningly?
A countenance more in sorrow than in anger.
Pale or red?
Nay, very pale.
And fixed his eyes upon you.
Most constantly.
Oh, I would I had been there.
It would have amazed you.
Very like, very like. Stayed it long?
While one with moderate haste might tell 100.
Longer.
Not when I saw it.
His beard was grizzled, no?
It was as I have seen it in his life, a sable silvered.
I will watch tonight. Perchance 'twill walk again.
I warrant it will.
If it assume my noble father's person, I'll speak to it, though hell itself should gape and bid me hold my peace. I pray you all, if you have hitherto concealed this night, let it be tenable in your silence still. And whatsoever else shall hap tonight, give an understanding, but no tongue. I will requite your loves. So fare you well. Upon the platform twixt 11 and 12, I'll visit you.
Our duty to
Duty
your honor.
to your honor.
Your love is mine to you. Farewell. My father's spirit, in arms? All is not well. I doubt some foul play. Would that the night were come. Till then, sit still, my soul. Foul deeds will rise, though all the earth overwhelm them to men's eyes.
Hamlet exits. Scene 3. Enter Laertes and Ophelia.
My necessaries are embarked. Farewell. And sister, as the winds give benefit and convey its assistant, do not sleep, but let me hear from you.
You doubt that?
For Hamlet and the trifling of his favor, hold it a fashion and a toy in blood, a violet in the youth of a primary nature. Forward, not permanent, sweet, not lasting, the perfume and suppliance of a minute, no more.
No more, but so?
Think of it, no more. For nature, crescent does not grow alone, enthuse and bulk, but as this temple waxes, the inward service of the mind and soul grows wide withal. Perhaps he loves you now, and now no soil, no cattle doth besmirch the virtue of his will, but you must fear. His greatness weighed, his will is not his own, for he himself is subject to his birth. He may not, as unvalued persons do, carve for himself, for on his choice depends the safety and the health of this whole state, and therefore must his choice be circumscribed unto the voice and yielding of that body, whereof he is the head. Then, if he says he loves you, it fits your wisdom so far to believe it, as he in particular act and place may give his saying deed, which is no further than the main voice of Denmark goes withal. Then weigh what loss your honor may sustain, if with too credent ear you list his songs, or lose your heart, or your chaste treasure open to his unmastered importunity. Fear it, Ophelia, fear it, my dear sister, and keep you in the rear of your affection, out of the shot and danger of desire. The cherished maid is prodigal enough, if she unmask her beauty to the moon. Virtue itself scapes not calumnious strokes. The canker gouls the infants of the spring too oft before their buttons be disclosed, and in the morn and liquid dew of youth, contagious blastments are most imminent. Be wary then. Best safety lies in fear. Youth to itself rebels, though none else is near.
I shall the effect of this good lesson keep as watchman to my heart, but good my brother, do not do as some ungracious pastors do, show me the steep and thorny way to heaven, well, like a puffed and reckless libertine himself, the primrose path of dalliance treads and recks not his own reed.
Oh, fear me not. Okay. I stay too long, but here my father comes. A double blessing is a double grace. Occasion smiles upon a second leave.
Yet here, Laertes, aboard, for shame. The wind sits in the shoulder of your sail, and you are stayed for. There, my blessing with thee, and these few precepts in thy memory. Look, thou character, give thy thoughts no tongue. be nor any unproportioned thought his act. Be thou familiar, but by no means vulgar. Those friends thou hast, and their adoption tried, grapple them to thy soul with hoops of steel, but do not dull thy palm with entertainment of each new hatched unfledged comrade. Beware of entrance to a quarrel, but being in, bear it that the opposed may beware of thee. Give each man thy ear, but few thy voice. Take each man's censure, but reserve thy judgment. Costly thy habit as thy purse can buy, but not expressed in fancy. Rich, not gaudy, for the apparel oft proclaims the man, and they in France of the best rank and station are a most and select and generous chief in that. Neither a borrower nor a lender be, for loan oft loses both itself and friend, and borrowing dulls the edge of husbandry. This above all, to thine own self be true, and it must follow, as the night the day. Thou canst not be false to any man. Farewell, my blessing season this in thee.
Most humbly do I take my leave, my lord.
The time invites you. Go, your servants tend.
Farewell, Ophelia, and remember well what I have said to you.
'Tis in my memory locked, and you yourself shall keep the key of it.
Farewell.
What is it, Ophelia, he hath said to you?
So please you, something touching the Lord Hamlet.
Marry, well bethought. 'Tis told me he hath very oft of late given private time to you, and you yourself have of your audience been most free and bounteous. If it be so, as so 'tis put on me, and that in way of caution, I must tell you, you do not understand yourself so clearly as it behooves my daughter and your honor. What is it between you? Give me up the truth.
He hath, my lord, of late made many tenders of his affection to me.
Affection? You speak like a green girl, unsifted in such perilous circumstance. Do you believe his tenders, as you call them?
I do not know, my lord, what I should think.
Mary, I'll teach you. Think yourself a baby, that you have taken these tenders for true pay, which are not sterling. Tender yourself more dearly, or, not to crack the wind of the poor phrase running it thus, you'll tender me a fool.
My lord, he hath importuned me with love in honorable fashion.
I fashion, you may call it. Go to.
And hath given countenance to his speech, my lord, with almost all the holy vows of heaven.
Aye, springs to catch woodcocks. I do know when the blood burns how prodigal the soul lends the tongue vows. These blazes, daughter, giving more light than he, extinct in both. Even in their promise, as is a making, you must not take for fire. From this time be something scanter of your maiden presence. Set your entreatments at a higher rate than a command to parley. For Lord Hamlet believes so much in him that he is young, and with a larger tether may he walk than may be given you. In few, Ophelia, do not believe his vows, for they are brokers, not of that dye which their investments show, but mere implorators of unholy suits, breathing like sanctified and pious bawds, the better to the guile. This is for all. I would not, in plain terms, from this time forth have you so slander any moment leisure as to give words or talk with the Lord Hamlet. Look to it, I charge you. Come your ways.
I shall obey, my lord.
They exit. Scene 4. Enter Hamlet, Horatio, and Marcellus.
The air bites shrewdly. It is very cold.
It is a nipping and eager air.
What hour now?
I think it lacks of 12.
No, it is struck.
Indeed, I heard it not. It then draws near to the season, wherein the spirit held his wont to walk. What does this mean, my lord?
The king doth wake tonight and take his rouse, keeps wassail and swaggering upspring reels as he drains the draught of Rhenish down, the kettle drum and trumpet bray out the triumphant pledge.
Is it a custom?
Aye, marry is it, but to my mind, though I am native here and the manor born, is a custom more honored in the breach than the observance. This heavy-headed rebel east and west makes us traduce and tax of other nations. They clap us drunkards, and the Swanish praise swell our edition. Indeed, it takes from our achievements, though performed at the height, the pith and marrow of our tribute. So oft it chances, in particular, men that there's some vicious mole of nature in them, as in their birth, wherein they are not guilty, since nature cannot choose his origin. by the overgrowth of some complexion, oft breaking down the pales and force of reason, or by some habit that too much overleavens the form of plaza manners, these men carrying, I say, the stamp of one defect, being nature's livery or fortune's star, his virtues else they as pure as grace, as infinite as man may undergo, shall in the general censure take corruption from that particular fault. The gem of evil doth all the noble substance of doubt to his own scandal.
Look, my lord, it comes.
Angels and ministers of grace, defend us. Be thou a spirit of health or goblin damned, bring thee airs from heaven or blasts from hell. Be thy intents wicked or charitable, thou comest in such a questionable shape that I will speak to thee. I'll call thee Hamlet, king, father, royal dame. Oh, answer me. Let me not burst in ignorance, but tell why thy canonized bones, hearsed in death, have burst their cerements, why the sepulchre wherein we saw thee quietly interred hath oped his ponderous marble jaws to cast thee up again. What may this mean, that thou, dead corse, again in complete steel, revisitest thus the glimpses of the moon, making night hideous, and we fools of nature so hardly to shake our disposition with thoughts beyond the reaches of our souls? Say, why is this? Wherefore? What should we do?
It beckons you to go away with it, as if some impartment did desire to you alone.
Look with what courteous action it waves to you with a more removed ground, but do not go with it.
No, by no means.
It will not speak. Then I will follow it.
You not, my lord.
Why? What should be the fear? I do not set my life at a pin's fee, and for my soul, what can it do to that, being a thing immortal as itself? It waves me forth again. I'll follow it.
You shall not go, my
If it
lord.
tempt you towards the flood, or to the dreadful summit over the cliff, that beetles o'er his base into the sea, and there assume some other horrible form which might deprive your sovereignty of reason and draw you into madness. Think of it. The very place puts toys of desperation without more motive into every brain, that looks so fathoms into the sea and hears it roar beneath.
It waves me still. Go on, I'll follow thee.
You shall not go, my lord.
Hold off your hands.
Be ruled, you shall not go.
My fate cries out and makes every petty ardor in this body as hard as the Nemean lion's nerve. Still I am called. Unhand me, gentlemen. By heaven, I'll make a ghost of him that lets me, I say, away. Go on, I'll follow thee.
He waxes desperate with imagination.
Let's follow. 'Tis not fit thus to obey him.
Have after. To what issue will this come?
Something is rotten in the state of Denmark.
Heaven will direct it.
Nay, let's follow him.
They exit. Scene 5, enter Ghost and Hamlet.
Whither wilt thou lead me? Speak. I'll go no further.
Mark me.
I will.
My hour is almost come when I to sulphurous and tormenting flames must render up myself.
Alas, poor ghost.
Pity me not, but lend thy serious hearing to what I shall unfold.
Speak, I am bound to hear.
So art thou to revenge, when thou shalt hear.
What?
I am thy father's spirit, doomed for a certain term to walk the night, and for the day confined to fast and fires, till the foul crimes done in my days of nature are burnt and purged away. But that I am forbid to tell the secrets of my prison house, I could a tale unfold whose lightest word would harrow up thy soul, freeze thy young blood, make thy two eyes like stars start from their spheres, thy knotted and combined locks to part, and each particular hair to stand on end, like quills upon the fretful porpentine. But this eternal blazon must not be to ears of flesh and blood. List, list, O list, if thou didst ever thy dear father love.
Oh God!
Revenge is foul and most unnatural murder.
Murder?
Murder most foul as in the best it is, but this most foul, strange and unnatural.
Haste me to know that I, with wings swift as meditation of the thoughts of love, may sweep to my revenge.
I find thee apt, and duller shouldst thou be than the fat weed that roots itself in ease on Lethe wharf. Wouldst thou not stir in this? Now, Hamlet, here. 'Tis given out that sleeping in my orchard, a serpent stung me, so the whole eel of Denmark is by a forged process of my death rankly abused. But know thou, noble youth, the serpent that did sting thy father's life now wears his crown.
Oh, my prophetic soul! My uncle?
Aye, that incestuous, that adulterate beast, with witchcraft of his wit, with traitorous gifts, a wicked wit and gifts that have the power so to seduce, one to his shameful lust, the will of my most seeming virtuous queen. O Hamlet, what a falling off was there from me, whose love was of that dignity that it went hand in hand even with the vow I made to her in marriage, and to decline upon a wretch whose natural gifts were poor to those of mine. But virtue, as it never will be moved, though lewdness courted in a shape of heaven, so lust, though to a radiant angel linked, will sate itself in a celestial bed and prey on garbage. But soft, methinks I scent the morning air, brief let me be. Sleeping within my orchard, my custom always of the afternoon, upon my secure hour thy uncle stole, with juice of cursed Hebanon in a vial, and in the porches of my ears did pour the leprous distilment, whose effect holds such an enmity with blood of man that swift as quiffed silver, it courses through the natural gates and alleys of the body, and with a sudden vigor doth posset and curd, like eager droppings into milk, the thin and wholesome blood. So did it mine, and a most instant tetter barked about, most Lazar-like with vile and loathsome crust, all my smooth body. Thus was I, sleeping, by a brother's hand of life, of crown, of queen at once dispatched, cut off even in the blossoms of my skin, unhouselled, disappointed, unannaled, no reckoning made, but sent to my account, with all my imperfections on my head. O horrible, most horrible! If thou hast nature in thee, bear it not. Let not the royal bed of Denmark be a couch for luxury and damned incest. But howsoever thou pursuest this act, taint not thy mind, nor let thy soul contrive against thy mother aught. Leave her to heaven, and to those thorns that in her bosom lodge, to prick and sting her. Fare thee well at once. The glowworm shows the matin to be near, and gins to pale his uneffectual fire. Adieu, adieu, Hamlet, remember me.
Oh, all you, host of heaven, oh earth, what else? And shall I couple hell? Oh, fie! Hold my heart, and you, my sinews, grow not instant old, and but bear me it stiffly up. Remember thee? Aye, thou poor ghost, while this memory holds a seat in this distracted globe. Remember thee? Yea, from the table of my memory, I'll wipe away all trivial fond records, and all sorts of books, all forms, all precious past that youth and observation copied there. My commandment all alone shall live, within the book and volume of my brain, unmixed with baser matter. Yes, by heaven! O pernicious woman! O villain, smiling, damned villain! My tables, methinks I set it down, that one may smile and be a villain. At least I am sure it may be so in Denmark. So, uncle, there you are. Now to my word. It is adieu, remember me. I have sworn it.
My lord, my lord!
Lord Hamlet!
Heaven secure him!
So be it.
Hello, ho-ho, my lord.
Hello, ho-ho, boy. Come, bird, come.
How is it, my noble lord?
What news, my lord?
Oh, wonderful.
Good, my lord, tell it.
No, you will reveal it.
Not I, my lord, by heaven.
Nor I, my lord.
How would you say it? How say you then? What heart of man once think it? But you'll be secret?
Aye, by heaven, my lord.
There's never a villain dwelling in all Denmark, but he's an arrant knave.
There needs no ghost, my lord, come from the grave to tell us this.
Why, right you are in the right. And so without more circumstance at all, I hold it fit that we shake hands and part. You as your business desire shall point you, where every man has business desire such as it is, and for mine own part, I will go back.
Those are but wild and whirling words, my lord.
I'm sorry they offend you heartily. Yes, faith, heartily.
There's no offense, my lord.
Yes, by St. Patrick, but there is Horatio, and much offense too. Touching this vision here, it is an honest ghost, that let me tell you, for your desire to know what it is between us, or master it as you may. And now, good friends, as you are friends, scholars, and soldiers, give me one poor request.
What is it, my lord? We will.
Never make known what you have seen tonight.
My lord, we will not.
Nay, but swear it.
In faith, my lord, not I.
Nor I, my lord, in faith.
Upon my sword.
We have sworn it, my lord, already.
Indeed, upon my...
Indeed, upon my sword, indeed.
Where?
Ha! Boy, say'st thou so? Art thou there, true penny? Come, you hear this fellow in the cellarage? Consent to swear.
Propose the oath, my lord.
Never to speak of this that you have seen. Swear by my sword.
Where?
Get bouquet, and we'll shift our ground. Come hither, gentlemen, and lay your hands again upon my sword. Swear by my sword never to speak of this that you have heard.
Swear.
Well said, old mole. Canst work in the earth so fast, a worthy pioneer. Once more, remove good friends.
Oh, day and night, but this is wondrous strange.
And therefore, as a stranger, give it welcome. There are more things in heaven and earth, Horatio, that are dreamt of in your philosophy. But come, here as before, never so help you mercy, how strange or odd somehow I bear myself, as I perchance hereafter shall think meet to put an antic disposition on, that you at such times seeing me never shall with encumbered thus or this head shake, or by pronouncing some doubtful phrase as well, well we know, or we could and if we could, or if we list to speak, or there be and if they might, or such ambiguous giving out to note that you know aught of me. This do swear, so grace and mercy at your most need help you.
Swear.
Rest, perturbed spirit. So, gentlemen, with all my love I do commend me to you, and what so poor a man as Hamlet is may do to express his love and friending to you, God willing shall not lack. Let us go in together, and still your fingers on the lips, I pray. Time is out of joint. Oh, cursed spite that I was ever born to set it right. Nay, come, let's go together.
They exit. The Tragedy of Hamlet, Prince of Denmark, Act 2. Scene 1. Enter old Polonius with his man Reynaldo.
Give him this money and these notes, Reynaldo.
I will, my lord.
You shall do marvelous wisely, good Reynaldo, before you visit him, to make inquire of his behavior.
My lord, I did intend it.
Marry, well said, very well said. Look you, sir, inquire me first what danskers are in Paris, and how, and who, what means, and where they keep, what company, at what expense, and finding by this encompassment and drift of question that they do know my son, come you more nearer than your particular demands will touch it. Take you, as 'twere, some distant knowledge of him, as thus, I know his father and his friends, and impart him. Do you mark this, Reynaldo?
Aye, well, my lord.
And impart him, but, you may say, not well. But, if it be he, I mean, he's very wild, addicted so and so, and there put on him what forgeries you may please. Marry, none so rank as may dishonor him, take heed of that. But, sir, such wanton, wild, and usual slips, as our companions noted and most known to youth and liberty.
As gaming, my lord.
Aye, or drinking, fencing, swearing, quarreling, drabbing, you may go so far.
My lord, that would dishonor him.
Faith, no, as you may season it in the charge, you must not put another scandal on him, that he's open to incontinency. That's not my meaning, but breathe his faults so quaintly that they seem the taints of liberty, the flash and outbreak of the fiery mind, the savageness and unreclaimed blood of general assault.
But my good lord.
Wherefore should you do this?
Aye, my lord, I would know that.
Marry, sir, here's my drift, and I believe it is a fetch of warrant. You laying these slight sullies on my son, as 'twere a thing a little soiled in the working. Mark you, your party in converse him would sound, having ever seen in the predominant crimes, the youth you breathe of guilty, be assured, he closes with you in this consequence. Good sir, or so, or friend, or gentleman, according to the phrase or the addition of man and country.
Very good, my lord.
And then, sir, does he this? He does. What was I about to say? By the mass, I was about to say something. Where did I leave?
It closes in the consequence at friends or so and gentlemen.
It closes in the consequence. I marry. He closes with you thus. I know the gentleman. I saw him yesterday, or other day, or then, with such or such. And as you say, there was a gaming, there o'ertook in rouse. There falling out at tennis, or perchance, I saw him enter such a sale, house of sale, vid illicit, a brothel, or so forth. See you now, your bait of falsehood takes his carpet truth, and thus do we of wisdom and of reach, with windlasses and with essays of bias, by indirections find directions out. So, by my former lecture and advice shall you, my son, you have me, have you not?
My lord, I have.
God be with ye, fare ye well.
Good, my lord.
Observe his inclination in yourself.
I shall, my lord.
And let him ply his music.
Well, my lord.
Farewell. How now, Ophelia? What's the matter?
Oh, my lord, I've been so affrighted.
With what in the name of God?
My lord, as I was sewing in my closet, Lord Hamlet, with his doublet all unbraced, no hat upon his head, his stockings fouled, ungartered, and down gyved to his ankle, pale as his shirt, his knees knocking each other, and with a look so hideous interport as if he'd been loosed out of hell to speak of horrors. He comes before me.
Mad for thy love?
My lord, I do not know, but truly I do fear it.
What said he?
He took me by the wrist and held me hard, then goes he to the length of all his arm, and with his other hand thus o'er his brow he falls to such perusal of my face as he would draw it. Long he stayed so. At last a little shaking of mine arm, and thrice his head thus waving up and down, he raised a sigh so piteous and profound as did seem to shatter all his bulk and end his being. That done, he lets me go, and with his head over his shoulder turned, he seemed to find his way without his eyes, for out of doors he went without their helps, and to the last bended their light on me.
Come, go with me. I will go seek the king. This is the very ecstasy of love, whose violent property fordoes itself and leads the will to desperate undertakings as oft as any passion in heaven that does afflict our natures. I am sorry. What, have you given him any hard words of late?
No, my good lord, but as you did command, I did repel his letters and denied his access to me.
That hath made him mad. I am sorry that with better heed and judgment I had not quoted him. I fear he did but trifle and meant to rack thee. But beshrew my jealousy. By heaven, it is as proper to our age to cast beyond ourselves in our opinions, as it is common for the younger sort to lack discretion. Come, go we to the king. This must be known, which, by being kept close, might move more grief to hide than hate to utter love. Come.
Welcome, dear Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. Moreover, that we did much long to see you, the need we have to use you did provoke our hasty sending. Something you have heard of Hamlet's transformation, so call it. And sith nor the exterior nor the inward man resembles that it was, what it should be, more than his father's death, that thus hath put him so much from the understanding of himself I cannot dream of. I entreat you both, that being of so young days brought up with him, and sit so neighbored to his youth and behavior, that you vouchsafe your rest here in our court some little time, so by your companies to draw him on to pleasures, and to gather so much as from occasion ye may glean, whether aught to us unknown afflicts him thus, and that opened lies within.
Gentlemen, he had much talked of you, and sure I am two men there are not living to whom he more adheres, if it will please you to show us so much gentry and goodwill as to expend your time with us a while, for the supply and profit of our hope, your visitations shall receive such thanks as fits a king's remembrance.
Both your majesties might by the sovereign power you have of us put your dread pleasure more into command than to entreaty.
But we both obey, and here give up ourselves in the full bent to lay our service freely at your feet, to be commanded.
Thanks, Rosencrantz and gentle Guildenstern.
Thanks, Guildenstern and gentle Rosencrantz. And I beseech you instantly go visit my too much changed son. Go, some of you, and bring these gentlemen where Hamlet is.
Heavens make our presence and our practices pleasant and helpful to him.
Aye, amen.
The ambassadors from Norway, my good lord, are joyfully returned.
Thou still hast been the father of good news.
Have I, my lord? I assure my good liege, I hold my duty as I hold my soul, both to my God and to my gracious king. And I do think, or else this brain of mine hunts not the trail of policy so sure as it hath used to, that I have found the very cause of Hamlet's lunacy.
Oh, speak of that. That do I long to hear.
Give first admittance to the ambassadors. My news shall be the fruit to that great feast.
Thyself do grace to them and bring them in. He tells me, my dear Gertrude, he hath found the head and source of all your son's distemper.
I doubt it is no other but the main, his father's death, our hasty marriage.
Well, we shall sift him. Say, welcome, my good friends. Say, Voltimand, what from our brother Norway?
Most Most fair return of greetings and desires. Upon our first, he sent out to suppress his nephew's levies, which to him appeared to be a preparation against the Polack. But better looked into, he truly found it was against your highness. Whereat grieved that so his sickness, age, and impotence was falsely borne in hand, sends out arrests of unfortunate bras, which he, in brief, obeys, receives rebuke from Norway, and in fine makes vow before his uncle nevermore to give the essay of arms against your majesty. Whereon old Norway, overcome with joy, gives him 70,000 crowns in annual fee, and his commission to employ those soldiers so levied as before against the Polack, with an entry herein further shown, that it might please you to give quiet pass through your domains for this enterprise, on such regard of safety and allowance as thereon set down.
It likes us well, and at our more considered time, we'll read, answer, and think upon this business. Meantime, we thank you for your well-took labor. Go to your rest, and tonight we'll feast together. Most welcome home.
This business is well ended. My liege and madam, to expostulate what majesty should be, what duty is, why day is day, night, and time is time, were nothing but to waste night, day, and time. Therefore, since brevity is the soul of wit, and tediousness the limbs and outward flourishes, I will be brief. Your noble son is mad call I it, for to define true madness, what is it but to be nothing else but mad? But let that go.
More matter with less art.
Madam, I swear I use no art at all. That he is mad, 'tis true. 'Tis true, 'tis pity and pity, 'tis true, a foolish figure. But farewell it, for I will use no art. Mad, let us grant him then, and now remains that we find out the cause of this effect, or rather say the cause of this defect. For this effect effective comes by cause. Thus it remains, and the remainder thus. Per pen, I have a daughter, have while she is mine, who in her duty and obedience, mark, hath given me this. Now gather and surmise. To the celestial and my soul's idol, the most beautified Ophelia. That's an ill phrase, a vile phrase. Beautified is a vile phrase, but you shall hear. In her excellent white bosom these, etc.
Came this from Hamlet to her?
Good madam, stay a while, I will be faithful. Doubt thou the stars are fire, doubt that the sun doth move, doubt truth it be a liar, but never doubt I love. Oh dear Ophelia, I'm ill at these numbers, I have not art to reckon my groans, but that I love thee best, oh most best believe it, adieu. Thine evermore, most dear lady, whilst this machine is to him Hamlet. This in obedience hath my daughter shown me, and more above hath his solicitings, as they fell up by time, by means and place, all given to mine ear.
But how had she received his love?
What do you think of me?
As of a man faithful and honorable.
I would fain prove so, but what might you think when I had seen this hot love on the wing? As I perceived it, I must tell you that, before my daughter told me. What might you, or my dear majesty the queen here, think, if I had played the desk or table book, or given my heart a winking, mute and dumb, or looked upon this love with idle sight? What might you think? No, I went round to work, and my young mistress thus did I bespeak. Lord Hamlet is a prince out of thy star. This must not be. And then I prescripts gave her that she should lock herself from his resort, admit no messengers, receive no tokens. Which done, she took the fruits of my advice, and he repulsed, a short tale to make, fell into a sadness, then into a fast, thence to a watch, thence into a weakness, thence to a lightness, and by this declension into the madness wherein he now raves, and all we mourn for.
Do you think 'tis this?
It may be, very likely.
Hath there been such a time, I'd fain know that I positively said, 'tis so, when it proved otherwise?
Not that I know.
Take this from this, if this be otherwise. If circumstances lead me, I will find where truth is hid, though it were hid indeed within the center.
How may we try it further?
You know, sometimes he walks 4 hours together here in the lobby.
So he does indeed.
At such a time, I'll loose my daughter to him. Be you and I behind an arras then. Mark the encounter. If he love her not, and be not from his reason fallen thereon, let me be no assistant for estate, but keep a farm and carters.
We will try it.
But look, where sadly the poor wretch comes reading.
Away, I do beseech you both away. I'll board him presently. Oh, give me leave. How does my good Lord Hamlet?
Oh, well, God of mercy.
Do you know me, my lord?
Excellent. Well, you are a fishmonger.
Not I, my lord.
Ah, then I would you were so honest a man.
Honest, my lord?
Aye, sir. To be honest, as this world goes, is to be one man picked out of 10,000.
That's very true, my lord.
For the sun breeds maggots in a dead dog, being good kissing carrion. Have you a daughter?
I have, my lord.
Let her not walk in the sun. Conception is a blessing, but as your daughter may conceive, friend, look to it.
How say you by that? Still harping on my daughter. Yet he knew me not at first. He said I was a fishmonger. He is far gone, and truly in my youth I suffered much extremity for love very near this. I'll speak to him again. What do you read, my lord?
Words, words, words.
What is the matter, my lord?
Between who?
I mean the matter that you read, my lord.
What slander, sir? Well, the satirical rogues is here. That old men have gray beards, that their faces all wrinkled, that their eyes purging thick and amber and plum tree gum, that they have plentiful lack of wit, together with most weak hands. All of which, sir, though I most powerfully and potently believe, yet I hold it not honesty to have it set down. For yourself, sir, shall grow old as I am, if like a crab you go backward.
Though this be madness, there be method in it. Will you walk out of the air, my lord?
Into my grave?
Indeed, that's out of the air. How pregnant sometimes his replies are. A happiness that often madness hits on, which reason and sanity could not prosperously be delivered of. I will leave him, and suddenly contrive the means of meeting between him and my daughter. My honorable lord, I will take my leave of you.
Oh, you cannot take me anything that I will more willingly part with all, except my life, and accept my life, accept my life.
Fare you well, my lord.
These tedious fools.
You go to seek the Lord Hamlet. There he is.
God save you, sir.
My honored lord.
My most dear lord.
Ah, my excellent good friends, how dost thou, Guildenstern? Ah, Rosencrantz, good lads, how do you both?
As indifferent children of the earth.
Happy in that we are not over happy. On fortune's cap, we are not the very button.
Nor the soles of her shoe.
Neither, my lord.
Then you live about her waist, or in the middle of her favors?
Faith, her privates we.
In the most secret parts of fortune, oh, most true she's a strumpet. What news?
None, my lord, but the world grown honest.
Ah, then doomsday is near, but your news is not true. Let me question more in particular. What have you, my good friends, deserved at the hands of fortune that she send you to prison hither?
Prison, my lord?
Denmark's a prison.
Then is the world one?
A goodly one, in which there are many confines, wards, and dungeons, Denmark being one of the worst.
We think not, my lord.
Why then 'tis none to you, for there is nothing either good or bad, but thinking makes it so. To me it is a prison.
Why, then your ambition makes it one. 'Tis too
Oh.
fair for your mind.
Oh God, I could be bounded in a nutshell and count myself a king of infinite space, were not that I have bad dreams.
Which dreams, indeed, are ambition, for the very substance of the ambitious is merely the shadow of a dream.
A dream itself is but a shadow.
Truly, and I hold ambition of so airy a lighted quality that it is but a shadow's shadow.
Then are our beggars' bodies and our monarchs and outstretched heroes the beggars' shadows. Shall we to the court? For by my fay I cannot reason.
We'll wait upon you.
No such matter, I will not sort you with the rest of my servants, for to speak to you like an honest man, I am most dreadfully offended. But in the beaten way of friendship, what makes you at Elsinore?
To visit you, my lord, no other occasion.
Beggar that I am even poor in thanks, but I thank you in short, dear friends. My thanks are too dear a halfpenny. Were you not sent for? Is it your own inclining? Is it a free visitation? Come, deal justly with me. Come, nay, speak.
What should we say, my lord?
Anything but to the purpose. You were sent for, and there is a kind of confession in your looks which your modesties have not craft enough to color. I know the good king and queen have sent for you.
To what end, my lord?
That you must teach me. But let me conjure you by the rights of our fellowship, by the constancy of our youth, by The obligation of our ever-preserved love, and by what more dear, better proposer can charge you withal, be even and direct with me, whether you were sent for or no.
What say you?
Nay then, I have an eye of you. If you love me, hold not off.
My lord, we were sent for.
I will tell you why. So shall my anticipation prevent your discovery, nor secret seeds of the king and queen moult no feather. I have of late, but wherefore I know not, lost all my mirth, foregone all custom of exercises. Indeed, it goes so heavily with my disposition that this goodly frame, the earth, seems to me a sterile promontory. Its most excellent canopy, the air, look you, this brave overhanging firmament, this majestical roof fretted with golden fire, why appeareth to me but a foul and pestilent congregation of vapors. What a piece of work is man, how noble in reason, how infinite in faculties, in form and moving, how express and admirable in action, and how like an angel in apprehension, how like a god, the beauty of the world, the paragon of animals. And yet to me, what is the quintessence of dust? Man delights not me, no, nor woman neither, though by your smiling you seem to say so.
My lord, there is no such stuff in my thoughts.
Why did you laugh then when I say man delights not me?
To think, my lord, if you delight not in man, what latent entertainment the players shall receive from you. We courted them on the way, and hither they come to offer you service.
Ah, he that plays the king shall be welcome. His majesty shall have tribute on me. The adventurous knight shall use his foil and target. The lover shall not sigh gratis. The humorous man shall end his part in peace. The clown shall make those laugh whose lungs are tickled on the seer. The lady shall say her mind freely, or the blank verse shall halt for it. What players are they?
Even those you were wont to take such delight in, the tragedians of the city.
What chances if they travel? The residence, both reputation and profit, was better both ways.
I think their ambition comes by means of the late innovation.
Do they hold the same estimation they did when I was in the city? Are they so followed?
No, indeed they do not.
How comes it? Do they grow rusty?
Nay, their endeavor keeps them in wonted pace, but there is, sir, an eyrie of children, little Eases that cry out on the top of questions and are most tyrannically clapped for it. There are now the fashions and sober rattle the common stage, so they call them, that many weary weepiers are afraid of goose quills and dare scarce come thither.
What are they, children? Who maintains them? How are they escorted? Will they pursue the quality no longer that they can sing? Will they not say afterwards, if they shall grow themselves to common players, as it is most like that their means are no better, their writers do them wrong to make them exclaim against their own succession?
Faith, there have been much to do on both sides, and the nation holds it no sin to tar them to controversy. There was for a while no money bid for argument unless the poet and the player went to cups in the question.
Is it possible?
Oh, there has been much throwing about of brains.
Do the boys carry it away?
Aye, that they do, my lord Hercules and his load too.
It's not very strange. For my uncle is king of Denmark, and those that would have made mouths at him while my father lived give 20, 40, 50, 100 ducats apiece for his picture and little. His blood, there's something in this more than natural philosophy could find out.
There are the players.
Gentlemen, you are welcome to Elsinore. Your hands, come then. The pertinence of welcome is fashion and ceremony. Let me comply with you in this garb, lest my accent to the players, which I tell you must show fairly outwards, should more appear like entertainment than yours. You are welcome. But my uncle, father, and aunt mother are deceived.
In what, my dear lord?
I am mad, but north-northwest. When the wind is southerly, I know a hawk from a handsaw.
Well be with you, gentlemen.
Hark you, Guildenstern, and you too. At each ear a hearer. That great baby you see there is not yet out of his swaddling clouts.
Happily, he's the second time come to them, for they say an old man is twice a child.
Our prophecy comes to tell me of the players. Mark it. You say right, sir. A Monday morning, 'twas then indeed.
My lord, I have news to tell you.
My lord, I have news to tell you. Horatius was an actor in Rome.
The actors are come hither, my lord.
Buzz.
Upon my honor.
And then came the actor on his ass.
The best actors in the world, either for tragedy, comedy, history, pastoral, comical, historical, pastoral, tragical, historical, comical, historical, pastoral, scene indivisible, or poem unlimited. Seneca cannot be too heavy, nor Plautus too light. For the law of writ and liberty, these are the only men.
Oh, Judge of Israel, what a treasure hadst thou!
What treasure had he, my lord?
Why, One fair daughter and no more, the which he loved passing well.
Still my daughter.
Am I not in the right, old Jephthah?
If you call me Jephthah, my lord, I have a daughter that I love passing well.
Nay, that follows not.
What follows then, my lord?
Why, as by lot God wot, and then it came to pass as most like it was. The first row of the P.S. Camden will show you more, for look where my abridgment comes. You are welcome, masters, welcome all. I am glad to see thee well. Welcome, good friends. Oh, my old friend, what thy face is valiant since I saw thee last. Comes thou to beard me in Denmark? What is my young lady and mistress? By lady, your ladyship is nearer to heaven than when I saw you last by the altitude of a chopin. Pray your voice like a piece of uncurrent gold be not cracked within the ring. Masters, you are all welcome. Lean into it like French falconers. Fly at anything we see. We'll have a speech straight. Come, give us a taste of your quality. Come, a passionate speech.
What speech, my lord?
I heard thee speak a speech once, but it was never acted, or if it was, not above once. For the play, I remember, please not the million. 'Twas caviar to the general, but it was, as I received in others whose judgment in such matters cried to the top of mine, an excellent play, well digested in the scene, set down with much modesty and cunning. I remember one said there were no salads in the lines to make the matter savory, nor no matter in the phrase that might indict the author of affection, but called it an honest method, as wholesome as sweet, and by very much more handsome than fine. One speech in it I chiefly loved. 'Twas Amos's tale to Dido, and thereabout especially when he speaks of Priam's slaughter. If it live in your memory, begin at this line. Let me see. The rugged Pyrrhus, like the Hyrcanian beast, but no, 'tis not so. Begins with Pyrrhus. The rugged Pyrrhus, he whose sable arms, black as his purpose, did the night resemble when he lay couched in his ominous horse, hath now this dread and black complexion smeared with heraldry more dismal, head to foot now these total goals, horridly tricked with blood of fathers, mothers, sons, daughters, sons, baked and passed with parching streets, that lend a tyrannous and damned light to their lord's murder, roasted in the rattling fire, and thus oversized with coagulate gore, with eyes like carbuncles of the hellish Pyrrhus. O grandsire Priam seeks, so proceed you.
For God, my lord, well spoken, with good accent and good discretion.
Anon, he finds him striking too short at Greeks. His antique sword, rebellious to his arm, lies where it falls, repugnant to command, unequal, matched. Pyrrhus at Priam drives, and rage strikes wide, but with the width and wind of his fell sword, the unnerved father falls. Then senseless Ilium, seeming to feel this blow, and with flaming top stoops to his base, and with a hideous crash takes prisoner Pyrrhus' ear. For lo, his sword, which was declining on the milky head of reverend Priam, seemed in the air to stick. So as a painted tyrant Pyrrhus stood, and like a neutral to his will and matter, did nothing. But as we often see against some storm, a silence in the heavens, the wrack stands still, the bold winds speechless, and the orb below as hush as death. Anon the dreadful thunder doth rend the region. So after Pyrrhus' pause, aroused vengeance sets him new a work, and never did the Cyclops' hammers fall on Mars' armor, forged for proof return. With less remorse than Pyrrhus' bleeding sword now falls on Priam. Out, thou strumpet fortune! All you gods in general synod, take her away her powers, break all the spokes and fellies from her wheel, and bell the round nave down the hill of heaven, as low as the fiends.
This is too long.
It shall be to the barbers with your beard. Prithee, say on, he's for a jig or tale of bawdry, or he sleeps. Say on, come to Hecuba.
But who, ah woe, had seen the mobled queen?
The mobled queen?
That's good. Mobled queen is good.
Run barefoot up and down, threatening the flames with bosom room, a clout upon that head, where late the diadem stood in for a robe about her lank and ill-esteemed loins, a blanket in the alarm of fear caught up, who this had seen and with tongue in venom steeped, gainst fortune's state what treason had pronounced. But if the gods themselves did see her then, when she saw Pyrrhus make malicious sport, and mincing with his sword her husband's limbs, that instant burst of clamor that she made, unless things mortal moved them not at all, would have made milch the burning eyes of heaven, and passion in the gods.
Look whether he has not turned his color and has tears in his eyes. Prithee, no more.
'Tis well. I'll have thee speak the rest of it soon. Good my lord, will you see the players well bestowed? Do you hear? Let them be well used for the abstract and brief chronicles of time. After your death, you were better have a bad epitaph than their ill report you live while you live.
My lord, I will use them according to their desert.
God, Bodikins, man, much better. Use every man after a desert, and who shall escape whipping? Use them after your own honor and dignity. The less they deserve, the more merit is in your bounty. Take them in.
Come, sirs.
Follow him, friends. We'll hear a play tomorrow. Dost thou hear me, old friend? Can you play The Murder of Gonzago?
Aye, my lord.
We'll have it tomorrow night. You could for need study a speech of some 12 or 16 lines, which I would set down and insert in it, could you not?
Aye, my lord.
Very well. Follow that lord, and look you mock him not. My good friends, I'll leave you till tonight. You are welcome to Elsinore.
Good, my lord.
Aye, so goodbye to you. Now I am alone. Oh, what a rogue and peasant slave am I. It is not monstrous that this player here, but in a fiction and a dream of passion, could force his soul to his own conceit, that from her working in all of this visage wan tears in his eyes, distraction from in his aspect, a broken voice, and his whole function suiting with forms to his conceit, and all for nothing, for Hecuba. What's Hecuba to him, or he to Hecuba, that he should weep for her? What would he do had he the motive and the cue for passion that I have? He would drown the stage with tears and cleave the general ear with horrid speech, make mad the guilty and appall the free, confound the ignorant and amaze indeed the very faculties of eyes and ears. Yet I, a dull and muddy metal rascal, peak like John of dreams unpregnant of my cause, and can say nothing. No, not for a king, upon whose property and most dear life a damned defeat was made. Am I a coward? Who calls me villain, breaks my pay to cross, plucks off my beard and blows it in my face, tweaks me by the nose, gives me the lie in the throat as deep as to the lungs? Who does me this? Ha! Swoons. I should take it, for it cannot be but I am pigeon-livered and lack gall to make oppression bitter, or ere this I should have fatted all the region kites with the slaves awful. Bloody body villain, remorseless, treacherous, lecherous, kindless villain. Oh, vengeance! Why, what an ass am I! 'Tis most brave that I, the son of a dear father murdered, prompted to my revenge, by heaven and hell, must like a whore unpack my heart with words and fall a cursing like a very drab, a stallion. Fie upon it, foe, about my brains. I've heard guilty preachers sitting at a play have by the very cunning of the scene been struck so to the soul, that presently they have proclaimed their malefactions for murder, though it have no tongue will speak with most miraculous organ. I'll have these players play something like the murder of my father before mine uncle. I'll observe his looks, I'll tempt him to the quick. If he do blench, I know my course. The spirit that I have seen may be a devil, and the devil hath power to assume a pleasing shape. Yea, and perhaps out of my weakness, my melancholy, as is he very potent with such spirits, abuses me to damn me. I'll have ground more relative than this. The play is the thing wherein I'll catch the conscience of a king.
Line in the play.
Hamlet exits. We're going to have a 10-minute intermission for actors to go to the bathroom and get water. And we will commence in 10 minutes.
My husband.
The Tragedy of Hamlet, Prince of Denmark, Act 3, Scene 1. Enter King, Queen, Polonius, Ophelia, Rosencrantz, Guildenstern, and Lords.
And can you by no drift of conference get from him why he puts on this confusion, grating so harshly all of his days with turbulent and dangerous lunacy?
He does confess, and he feels himself distracted, but from what cause he will by no means speak.
Nor do we find him forward to be sounded, but with the crafty madness keeps aloof, when we would bring him on to some confession of his true state.
Did he receive you well?
Most like a gentleman.
But with much forcing of his disposition.
Guard of question, but our demands most free in his reply.
Did you assay him to any pastime?
Madam, it so fell out of certain players we are out on the way. Of these we told him, and there did seem to be in him a kind of joy to hear it. There are here about the courts, and I think they have already ordered this knight to play before him.
'Tis most true, and he beseeched me to entreat your majesties to hear and see the matter.
With all my heart, and it doth much content me to hear him so inclined. Good gentlemen, give him a further edge, and drive his purpose into these delights.
We shall, my lord.
Sweet Gertrude, leave us two. For we have close sent for him hither, that he, as 'twere by accident, may here affront Ophelia. Her father and myself, lawful espials, will so bestow ourselves that, seeing unseen, we may of their encounter frankly judge, and gather by him as he is so behaved, if it be the affliction of his love or no that thus he suffers for.
I shall obey you, and for your part, Ophelia, I do wish that your good beauties be the happy cause of Hamlet's wildness, so shall I hope your virtues will bring him to his wonted way again, to both your honors.
Madam, I wish it may.
Ophelia, walk you here. Gracious, so please you, we will bestow ourselves. Read on this book, that shows of such an exercise may color your loneliness. We are oft to blame in this, 'tis much proved, that with devotion's visage and pious action, we do sugar o'er the devil himself.
Oh, 'tis too true. How smart a lash that speech doth give my conscience. The harlot's cheek, beautied with plastering art, is not more ugly to the thing that helps it than my deed is to my most painted word. Oh, heavy burden.
I hear him coming. Let's withdraw, my lord.
To be or not to be, that is the question. Whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against a sea of troubles, and by opposing end them. To die, to sleep no more, and by sleep to say we end the heartache and the thousand natural shocks that flesh is heir to. 'Tis a consummation devoutly to be wished. To die, to sleep, or chance to dream. Aye, there's the rub. For in that sleep of death, what dreams may come, when we are shuffled off this mortal coil, must give us pause. There's the respect that makes calamity of so long life. For who would bear the whips and scorns of time, the oppressor's wrong, the proud man's contumely, the pangs of despised love, the law's delay, the insolence of office, and the spurns that patient merit of the unworthy takes, when he himself might his quietest make with a bare bodkin? Who would fardels bear to grunt and sweat under a weary life, but that dread of something after death, the undiscovered country of whose bourne no traveler returns, puzzles the will and makes us rather bear those ills we have than fly to others that we know not of. Does consciousness make cowards of us all? And thus the native hue of resolution is sicklied over with the pale cast of thought, and enterprises of great pitch and moment that disregard the runs and sweat under weary life, the dread of something under death, that the undiscovered country from whose bourne our old travel returns, puzzles the will and makes us bear those ills we have, and fly to others that we know not of. Does conscience make us cowards of us all, and thus have the native hue of resolution is sicklied over with the pale cast of thought, and enterprises of great pitch and moment with disregard their currents turn awry, and lose the name of action. Soft you now, the fair Ophelia, nymph in thy horizons, be all my sins remembered.
Good, my lord. How does your honor for this many a day?
I humbly thank you well.
My lord, I have remembrances of yours that I have long and longed to redeliver. I pray you now receive them.
No, not I. I never gave you naught.
My honored lord, you know right well you did, and with them words of so sweet breath composed as made the things more rich. Their perfume lost, take these again, for to the noble mind rich gifts wax poor when givers prove unkind. There, my lord.
Are you honest?
My lord?
Are you fair?
What means your lordship?
That if you be honest and fair, your honesty should admit no discourse to your beauty.
Could beauty, my lord, have better commerce than with honesty?
Aye, truly, for the power of beauty will sooner transform honesty from what it is to a bawd than the force of honesty can translate beauty into his likeness. There was sometimes a paradox, but now the time gives a proof. I did love you once.
Indeed, my lord, you made me believe it so.
You should not have believed me, for virtue cannot so inoculate our old stock, but we shall relish of it. I loved you not.
I was the more deceived.
Get thee to a nunnery. Why wouldst thou be a breeder of sinners? I am myself indifferent and honest, but yet I could accuse me of such things that it were better my mother had not borne me. I am very proud, revengeful, ambitious, with more offences at my beck than I have thoughts to put them in, imaginations to give them shape, or time to act them in. What should such fellows as I do crawling between earth and heaven? We are errant knaves all. Believe none of us. Go thy ways to a nunnery. Where's your father?
At home, my lord.
Let the doors be shut upon him, that he may play the fool nowhere but in his own house. Farewell.
Help him, you sweet heavens.
If thou dost marry, I'll give thee this plague for thy dowry. Be thou as chaste as ice, as pure as snow, thou shalt not escape calumny. Get thee to a nunnery, farewell. Or if thou wilt needs marry a fool. For wise men know well enough that what monsters you make of them, to a nunnery go, and quickly too. Farewell.
Heavenly powers restore him.
I have heard of your paintings too, well enough. Good hath given you one face, and you make yourselves another. You jig and amble, and you lisp, you nickname God's creatures, and you make your wantonness, your ignorance. Go to. I'll no more on it. That made me mad. I say we'll have no more marriage. Those that are married already, all but one shall live. The rest shall keep as they are. To a nunnery. Go.
Oh, what a noble mind is here o'erthrown. The courtiers, soldiers, scholars, eye, tongue, sword, the expectancy and rose of the fair state, the glass of fashion and the mold of form, the observed of all observers, quite down. And I, of ladies most deject and wretched, that sucked the honey of his musicked vows, now see that noble and most sovereign reason, like sweet bells jangled out of time and harsh. That unmatched form and stature of blown youth blasted with ecstasy. Woe is me to have seen what I have seen, see what I see.
Love? His affections do not that way tend. Nor what he spake, though it lacked form a little, was not like madness. There's something in his soul, o'er which his melancholy sits on brood. And I do doubt the hat and the disclose will be some danger, which for to prevent, I have in quick determination thus set it down. He shall with speed to England, for the demand of our neglected tribute. Happily the seas and countries different, with variable objects, shall expel this something settled matter in his heart, whereon his brain still beating puts him thus, from fashion of himself. What do you think on it?
It shall do well, but yet do I believe the origin and commencement of his grief sprung from neglected love. How now, Ophelia? You need not tell us what Lord Hamlet said. We heard it all. My lord, do as you please. But if you hold it fit, after the play, let his queen mother all alone entreat him to show his grief. Let her be round with him, and I'll be placed, so please you, in the ear of all their conference. If she find him not, to England send him, or confine him where your wisdom best shall think.
It shall be so. Madness in great ones must not unwatched go.
Act 2, Scene 2. Act 3, Scene 2. Enter Hamlet and players.
Speak the speech, I pray you, as I pronounced it to you, trippingly in the tongue. But if you mouth it as many of our players do, I had as I leave the town crier spoken my lines. Nor do you not saw the air too much with your hand, thus but use all gently. For in very torrent tempest, and, as I may say, whirlwind of your passion, you must acquire and beget a temperance that may give it smoothness. Oh, it offends me to hear to hear a robustious periwig painted fellow tear passion to tatters, to tear the rags, to split the ears of the groundlings, who for the most part are capable of nothing but inexplicable dumb shows and noise, or to have such a fellow whipped for overdoing termagant. At our harrod, pray you avoid it.
I warrant, your honor.
But be not too tame neither, but let your own discretion be your tutor. Suit the action to the word, the word to the action, with this special observance that you overstep not the modesty of nature. For anything so overdone is from the purpose of playing, whose end both at the first and now was and is to hold, as 'twere the mirror up to nature, to show virtue her own feature, scorn her own image, and the very age and body of time as form and pressure. Now this overdone or come tardy off, though it makes the unskilful laugh, cannot make the judicious grieve, the censure of the which one must be in your allowance overweigh the whole theatre of others. Oh, there be players that I have seen play and heard others praise, and that highly, but not to speak it profanely, that neither having the accent of Christians nor the gait of Christian pagan nor man, have strutted and bellowed that I have fought some of nature's journeymen and made men, and not made them well they imitated humanity so abominably.
I hope we have reformed this sin differently with us, sir.
Oh, reform it altogether. And let those that play your clown speak no more than is set down for them, for there be them that will themselves laugh, to set on the qualities of barren spectators to laugh too. Though in the meantime, some necessary question of the play be then to be considered. That's villainous and shows the most pitiful ambition, and the fool that uses it. Go, make you ready. How now, my lord? Will the king hear this piece of work?
And the queen too, and that presently.
Bid the players make haste. Will you two help to hasten them?
Aye, my lord.
What ho, Horatio?
Here, sweet lord, at your service.
Horatio, thou art even just as a man as ear to my conversation coped withal.
Oh, my dear lord.
Nay, do not think I flatter. What advancement may I hope from thee, that no revenue hast but thy good spirits to feed and clothe thee? Why should the poor be flattered? No, let the candy tongue lick absurd pomp and crook the pregnant hinges of the knee, where thrift may follow fawning. Dost thou hear? Since my dear soul was mistress of her choice, and could of men distinguish, her election hath sealed thee for herself, and that for thou hast been as one in suffering all that suffers nothing, a man that fortune's buffets and rewards has ta'en with equal thanks. And blessed are those whose blood and judgment are so well commeddled. They are not a pipe of fortune's finger to sound what stop she please. Give me that man, that it is not passion's slave, and I will wear in my heart's core, aye, in the heart of my heart as I do thee. That's something too much of this. There's a play tonight for the king. One scene of it comes near the circumstance which I have told thee of my father's death. I prithee, when thou seest that act afoot, even with the very comment of thy soul, observe my uncle. If his occulted guilt did not itself unkennel in one speech, it is damned ghosts that we have seen, and my imaginations are as foul as Vulcan's city. Give him a heedful note, for mine eyes will rivet to his face, and after we will both our judgments join in censure of this seeming.
Well, my lord, if ye steal aught the whilst this play is playing, and escape, I will pay the theft.
They're coming to the play. I must be idle. Get you a place.
Ah, how fares our cousin Hamlet?
Excellent in faith of the chameleon's dish. I eat the air promised crammed. You cannot feed cabin so.
I have nothing.
No, nor mine now. My lord, you played once at the university, you say?
That did I, my lord, and was accounted a good actor.
What did you enact?
I did enact Julius Caesar. I was killed in the Capitol. Brutus killed me.
No, it was a brute part of him to kill so capital a calf there. Be the players ready?
Aye, my lord. They stay upon your patience.
Come here, my dear Hamlet, sit by me.
No, good mother, here is metal more attractive.
Oh-ho, do you mark that?
Lady, shall I lie in your lap?
No, my lord.
I mean my head upon your lap.
Aye, my lord.
Do you think I meant country matters?
I think nothing, my lord.
That's a fair thought to lie between maidens' legs.
What is, my lord?
Oh, nothing.
You are merry, my lord.
Who, I?
Aye, my lord.
Oh God, you're only jig maker. What should a man do but be merry? For look you how cheerfully my mother looks, and my father died within 2 hours.
Nay, 'tis twice 2 months, my lord.
So long? Nay, then let the devil wear black, for I'll have a suit of sables. Oh heavens, died 2 months ago and not forgotten yet? And there is no great man's memory may outlive his life half a year. But by Our Lady, he must have built churches then, or else he shall suffer not thinking on with the hobby horse whose epitaph is, for oh, the hobby horse is forgot.
Woo!
What means this, my lord?
Mary, this is Melecho, means mischief.
Feel like this show imports the argument of the play.
We shall know by this fellow. The players cannot keep counsel, they'll tell all.
Will he tell us what this show meant?
Aye, or any that you or any show that you will show him. Be not you ashamed to show, he'll not ashamed to tell you what it means.
You are not. You are not. I'll mark the play.
For us and for our tragedy, here, stooping to your clemency, we beg your hearing patiently.
This is a prologue or the posy of a ring?
'Tis brief, my lord.
As woman's love.
Full 30 times hath Phoebus' cart gone round, Neptune salt wash Entellus' orbit ground, and 30 dozen moons with borrowed sheen about the world have times 12 30s been, since love our hearts and hymen did our hands unite commutual in most sacred bands.
So many journeys may the sun and moon make us again count o'er ere love be done. But woe is me, you are so sick of hate of late, so far from cheer and from your former state, that I distrust you. Yet though I distrust, discomfort you, my lord, is nothing must. For women's fear and love holds quantity in neither not aught or in extremity. Now what my love is, prove hath made you know, and as my love is sized, my fear is so. Where love is great, the littlest doubts are fear. Where love fears grow, great, great love grows there.
Faith, I must leave thee. Love, and shortly too, my operant powers their functions leave to do, and thou shalt live in this fair world behind, honored, beloved, and haply one is kind, for husband shalt thou.
Oh, confound the rest! Such love must be treason in my breast. In second husband let me be accursed, none wed the second, but who killed the first.
That's wormwood.
The instances that second marriage move are base respects of thrift, but none of love. A second time I kill my husband dead, when second husband kisses me in bed.
I do believe you think what now you speak, but what we do determine oft we break. Purpose is but the slave to memory, a violent birth, but poor validity, which now the fruit unripe sticks on the tree, but fall unshaken when they mellow be. Most unnecessary 'tis that we forget to pay ourselves what to ourselves is debt. What to ourselves is passion we propose, the passion ending doth the purpose lose. The violence of either grief or joy, their own enactors with themselves destroy. Where joy most revels, grief doth most lament. Grief joys, joy grieves, on slender accident. This world is not for aye, nor 'tis not strange that even our loves should with our fortunes change. For 'tis a question left us yet to prove whether love lead fortune or else fortune love. The great man down, you mark his favorite flies. The poor advanced make friends of enemies. And hitherto doth love on fortune tend, for who not needs shall never lack a friend. And who in want a hollow friend doth try, directly seasons him his enemy. But orderly, to end where I begun. Our wills and fates do so contrary run, that our devices still are overthrown. Our thoughts are ours, their ends none of our own. So think thou wilt no second husband wed, but die thy thoughts when thy first lord is dead.
No earth to me give food, nor heaven light. Sport and repose lock from me day and night. To desperation turn my trust and hope. An anchor's cheer in prison be my scope. Each opposite that blanks the face of joy. Meet what I would, have well and it destroy. Both here and hence pursue me lasting strife. If once a widow ever I be.
Oh, if she should break it now.
'Tis deeply sworn. Sweet, leave me here a while. My spirits grow dull, and fain I would beguile the tedious day with sleep.
Sleep rock thy brain, and never come mischance between us twain.
Madam, how like you this play?
The lady doth protests too much, methinks.
Oh, but she'll keep her word.
Have you heard the argument? Is there no offense in it?
No, they do but jest, poison and jest, no offense in the world.
Oh, what do you call the play?
The Mousetrap. Marry, how? Tropically, the play is the image of a murder done in Vienna. Gonzago is the Duke's name, his wife Baptista. You shall see anon. 'Tis a knavish piece of work, but what of that? Your Majesty and we have free souls, it touches us not. Let the galled jade wind saw withers are unwrung. This one is Lucianus, nephew to the king.
You were as good as a chorus, my lord.
If I can interpret between you and your love, if I could see the puppets dallying.
You are keen, my lord. You are keen.
Though it cost you a groaning to take off mine edge.
Still better and worse.
So you mistake your husbands. Begin, murderer. Leave the pox, leave thy damnable faces, and begin. Come, the croaking raven doth below for revenge.
Thoughts black, hands apt, drugs fit, and time agreeing. Confederate seizing, else no creature seeing. Thou mixture rank of midnight weeds collected, with hectic span thrice blasted, thrice infected. Thy natural magic and dire property on wholesome life usurped immediately.
He poisoned him in the garden for his estate. His name is Gonzago. The story is extant and written very choice in Italian. You'll see anon how the murderer gets the love of Gonzago's wife.
The king rises.
What? Frightened with false fire?
How fares my lord?
Give over the play.
Give me some light! Away!
Lights, lights, lights!
Ah!
They can't even see.
Why, let the strucken deer go weep, the heart unguarded play. For some must watch while some must sleep, thus runs the world away. With not for this and sir forest of feathers, if the rest of my fortunes turn Turk with me, with 2 provincial roses of my raised shoes, kept me a fellowship and a cry of players.
Half a share.
A whole one I. For thou dost know, O Damon dear, this realm dismantled was, of Jove himself, and now reigns here, a very varied pageant.
You might have rhymed.
Oh, good Horatio, I'll take the ghost's words for £1,000. Didst perceive?
Very well, my lord.
Upon the talk of poisoning.
I did very well note him.
Come, some music, come, the recorders. For if the king like not the comedy, why then be like he likes it not, Purdy. Come, some music.
Good, my lord. Vouchsafe me a word with you.
Sir, a whole history.
The king, sir,
Aye, what of him?
is in his retirement marvelous distempered?
With drink, sir?
No, my lord, with choler.
Your wisdom should show itself more richer to signify this to the doctor, for me to put him to his purgation would perhaps plunge him to more choler.
Good, my lord, put your discourse into some frame, and start not so widely from my affair.
I am tame, sir, pronounce.
The queen your mother, in most great affliction of spirit, had sent me to you.
You are welcome.
Nay, good my lord, this courtesy is not of the right breed. If it shall please you to make me a wholesome answer, I will do your mother's commandment. If not, your pardon and my return shall be the ends of my business.
Sir, I cannot.
What, my lord?
Make you a wholesome answer. My wit's diseased, but sir, such answers as I can make you shall command, or rather, as you say, my mother. Therefore, no more but to the matter, my mother, you say.
Then, thus she says, your behavior hath struck her into amazement and admiration.
A wonderful son can so astonish a mother, but there is no sequel at the heels of this mother's admiration. In part,
She desired to speak with you in her closet ere you go to bed.
we shall obey were she 10 times her mother. Have you further trade with us?
Yes, my lord, you once did love me.
And do still by these pickers and stealers.
Good, my lord, what is your cause for distemper? You do surely bar the doors upon your own liberty if you deny your grief to your friend.
Sir, I lack advancement.
How can that be when you have the voice of the king himself for your succession of Denmark?
Aye, sir, but while the grass grows, the proverb is somewhat musty. Oh, the recorders, let me see one. To withdraw with you, why do you go about to recover the wind of me as if you would drive me into a toil?
Oh, my lord, if my duty be too bold, my love is too unmannerly.
I do not well understand that. Will you play upon this pipe?
My lord, I cannot.
I pray you.
Believe me, I cannot.
I do beseech you.
I know no touch of it, my lord.
It is as easy as lying. Govern these vintages with your fingers and thumb, give it a breath with your mouth, and will discourse most eloquent music. Look you, these are the stops.
But these cannot I command to any utterance of harmony. I have not the skill.
Why, look you now, how unworthy a thing you make of me. You would play upon me, you would seem to know my stops, you would pluck out the heart of my mystery, you would sound me from my lowest note to the top of my compass. And there is much music, excellent voice in this little organ, yet cannot you make it speak? Sblood, you think I'm easy to be played on than a pipe? Call me what instrument you will, though you can fret me, you cannot play upon me. God bless you, sir.
My lord, the queen would speak with you, and presently.
Do you see yonder cloud that's almost in the shape of a camel?
By the mast, and 'tis like a camel indeed.
Methinks it is like a weasel.
It is backed like a weasel.
Or like a whale.
Very like a whale.
Then I will come to my mother by and by. They fool me to the top of my bent. I will come by and by.
I will say so.
By and by is easily said. Leave me, friends. 'Tis now the very witching time of night, when churchyards yawn and hell itself breathes out contagion to this world. Now could I drink hot blood and do such bitter business as the day would quake to look on. Soft now to my mother. O heart, lose not thy nature. Let not ever the soul of Nero enter this firm bosom. Let me be cruel, not unnatural. I will speak daggers to her, but use none. My tongue and soul in this Hippocrates, how in my words whatsoever shall be she be shent, to give them seals never my soul consent.
Hamlet exits. Scene 3. Enter King, Rosencrantz, and Guildenstern.
I like him not, nor stands it safe with us to let his madness range. Therefore prepare you. I your commission will forthwith dispatch, and he to England shall along with you. The terms of our estate may not endure hazard so near as doth hourly grow out of his brows.
We will ourselves provide. Most holy and religious fear it is to keep those many, many bodies safe that live and feed upon your majesty.
The single and peculiar life is bound with all the strength and armor of the mind to keep itself from annoyance, but much more the spirit upon those will depends and rests the lives of many. The cease of majesty dies not alone, but like a gulf doth drawn what's near it with it. Or it is a measly wheel fixed on the summit of the highest mount, to which huge spoken 10,000 lesser things are more distant adjourned, when it falls, each shall annexment, pretty consequence, attend the boisterous run, never alone did the king sigh, but with a general groan.
Arm you, I pray you, to this speedy voyage, for which we will fetters put about this year, which now goes too free-footed.
We will haste us.
My lord, he's going to his mother's closet. Behind the arras, I'll convey myself to hear the process. I'll warrant she'll tax him home, and as you said, and wisely was it said, 'tis meet that some more audience than a mother, since nature makes impartial, should o'erhear the speech of vantage. Fare you well, my liege. I'll call upon you ere you go to bed, and tell you what I know.
Thanks, dear lord. Dear my lord. Oh, my offense is rank. It smells to heaven. It hath the primal eldest curse upon it. A brother's murder. Pray can I not, though inclination be as sharp as will. My stronger guilt defeats my strong intent, and like a man to double business bound, I stand in pause where I shall first begin and both neglect. What if this cursed hand were thicker than itself with brother's blood? Is there not rain enough in the sweet heavens to wash it white as snow? Whereto serves mercy but to confound the visage of the offense? And what's in prayer but this twofold force, to be forestalled ere we come to fall, or pardoned being down? Then I'll look up. My fault is past. But oh, what form of prayer can serve my turn? Forgive me my foul murder? That cannot be, since I am still possessed of those effects for which I did the murder. My crown, mine own ambition, and my queen. May one be pardoned and retain the offense? In the corrupted currents of this world, offence's gilded hand may shove by justice, and oft it seem the wicked prize itself buys out the law, but 'tis not so above. There is no shuffling. There the action lies in his true nature, and we ourselves compelled even to the teeth and forehead of our faults to give in evidence. What rests? Try what repentance can, what can it not? But when one cannot repent, oh wretched state, oh bosom black as death, oh line mid soul that struggling to be free art more engaged. Help, angels! Make us A! Bow stubborn knees and heart with strings of steel, be so the sinews of the newborn babe. All may be well.
Now might I do it, Pat. Now he's a praying, and now I'll do it. And so he goes to heaven, and so I am revenged. That would be scanned. A villain kills my father, and for that I, his sole son, do this same villain send to heaven. Why, this is hire and salary, not revenge. He took my father grossly, full of bread, with all his crimes broad blown, and flush as May, and how's aught it stands, who knows save heaven? But in our circumstance, of course, of thought is heavy with him. And I am then revenged to take him in the purging of his soul, when he is fit in season for his passage? No. Up sword and no down a more hard head. When he's drunk his sleep or in his rage, or in the incestuous pleasure of his bed, that game of swearing about some act that has no relish of salvation in it, then trip him that his heels may kick at heaven, that his soul may be as damned as black as hell, whereto it goes. My mother stays, as physic, but prolongs thy sickly days.
My words fly up, my thoughts remain below. Words without thoughts never to heaven go.
Polonius, Claudius exits. Scene 4, enter Queen and Polonius.
He will come straight. Look, you lay home to him. Tell him his pranks have been too broad to bear with, and that your grace hath screened and stood between much heat and him. I'll silence me even here. Pray you, be round with him.
Mother, mother, mother.
I'll warrant you, fear me not. Withdraw, I hear him coming.
Now, mother, what's the matter?
Hamlet, thou hast thy father much offended.
Mother, you have my father much offended.
Come, you answer with an idle tongue.
Go, you question with a wicked tongue.
Why? How now, Hamlet?
What's the matter now?
Have you forgot me?
No, by the rood, not so. You are the queen, your husband's brother's wife, and were it not so, you are my mother.
Nay, then, I'll set those to you that can speak.
Come and sit you down, you shall not budge. You go not till I set you up a glass where you may see the inmost part of you.
What wilt thou do? Thou wilt not murder me? Help! Help! Ho!
What ho? Help, help, help!
How now? A rat? Dead for a ducat, dead!
Oh, I am slain.
Oh me! What hast thou done?
Nay, I know not. Is it the king?
Oh, what a rash and bloody deed this is.
A bloody deed. Almost as bad, good mother, as kill a king and marry with his brother.
As kill a king?
Aye, lady, it was my word. No. Thou wretched, rash, intruding fool, farewell. I took thee for thy better. Take thy fortune. Thou finds it to be too busy is some danger. Leave wringing of your hands, peace sit you down, and let me wring your heart. For so I shall, if it be made of penetrable stuff, if damned custom not brazed it so, that it be proof and bulwark against sense.
What have I done, that thou darest wag thy tongue in noise so rude against me?
Such an act that blurs the grace and blush of modesty, calls the virtue hypocrite, and takes off the rose on the fair forehead of an innocent love, and sets a blister there, makes marriage vows as false as dicer's oaths. Oh, such a deed as from the body of contraction plucks the very soul, and sweet religion makes a rhapsody of words. Heaven's face does glow o'er this solidity, a compound mass with heated visage, as against the doom is thought sick of the act.
Ay me, what act, that roars so loud and thunders in the index?
Oh, look here upon this picture, and on this, the counterfeit present of two brothers. See what a grace of cedar on this brow, Hyperion's curls, the front of Jove himself, an eye like Mars, a threatening command, a station like the heraldry Mercury, new lighted on a heaven, a kissing hill, a combination in form and deed, where every god did seem to set his seal, to give the world assurance of a man. This was your husband. Look you now what follows. Here is your husband, like a mildewed ear, blasting his wholesome brother. Have you eyes? Could you be on this fair mountain, leave to feed, and band on this moor? Ha! Have you eyes? You cannot call it love, for at your age the heyday is is tame. It's humble, and waits upon the judgment. And what judgment would step from this to this? Sure you have seen, sure you have else, could you not have the motion? But sure that sense of apoplexed, for madness would not err, nor sense to ecstasy was never so thralled, but it reserves the paucity of choice to serve in such a difference. What devil was it that thus hath caused you as at home and blind? Eyes without feeling, feeling without sight, ears without hands or eyes, smelling sans all, or but a sickly part of one true sense could not so mope? Oh shame, where is thy blush? Rebellious hell, if thou canst mutant Nematone's bones, to flaming youth let virtue be as wax and melting on fire, proclaim no shame when the compulsive ardor gives thee charge, since frost itself as actively doth burn, and reason panders will.
Oh, Hamlet, speak no more. Thou turnest mine eyes into my very soul, and there I see such black and grain spots as will never leave their intact, their tinct.
Nay, but to live in the rank sweat of an seaman bed, stewed in the corruption honeying and making love over the nasty sty.
Oh, speak to me no more. These words like daggers enter in mine ears. No more, sweet Hamlet.
A murderer and a villain, a slave that is not 20th part the tithe of your precedent lord, a vice of kings, the coppers of the empire, and the rule that from the shelf of precious diadem stole and put in his pocket.
No more!
A king of shreds and patches. Save me, and hover over me with your wings, you heavenly guards. What would your gracious figure?
Alas, he's mad!
Do not come your tardy son to chide, that lapse in time and passion lets go by, then put an acting your dread command? Oh, say!
Do not forget, this visitation is but to whet thy almost blunted purpose. But look, amazement on thy mother sits. O step between her and her fighting soul, conceit in weakest body's strongest works. Speak to her, Hamlet.
How is it with you, lady?
Alas, how is't with you, that you do bend your eye on vacancy, and with the incorporeal air do hold discourse? Forth at your eyes your spirits wildly peep, and as the sleeping soldiers in the alarm, your bedded hair, like life in excrements, stands up and stands on end. Oh, gentle sun, upon the heat and flame of thy distemper, Sigal, cool patience. Wherein do you look?
On him! Look you how pale he glares! His form and cause conjoined, preaching to stones would make them capable. Do not look upon me, lest with this piteous action you convert my stern effects. Then what have I done to do warrant true color, tears perchance with blood?
To whom do you speak this?
Do you see nothing there?
Nothing at all, yet all that I see.
Nor did you nothing hear?
No, nothing but ourselves.
Why, look you there, look how it steals away. My father in his habit as he lived. Look where he goes even now out the portal.
That's this the very coinage of your brain. This bodiless creation ecstasy is very cunning in.
Ecstasy? My pulse as yours doth temporally keep time and makes as helpful music. It is not madness that I've uttered. Bring me to the test, and I the matter will free word which madness would gabble from. Mother, for love of grace, lay not that flattering unction to your soul, that you not trespass what my madness speaks. It will but skin and film the ulcerous place, while rank corruption mining all within infects unseen. Confess yourself to heaven, repent what's past, avoid what is to come, and do not spread the compost on the weeds to make them ranker. Forgive me, this is my virtue. From the fatness of these pursy times, virtue itself of vice must pardon beg. Yea, curb and woo for leave to do him good.
O Hamlet, thou hast cleft my heart in twain.
Oh, throw away the worser part of it, and leave the pure with the other half. Good night, but go not to my uncle's bed. Assume a virtue if you have it not. That monster custom who all sense doth eat, of habits devil is angel yet in this, that to use the actions of fair and good, he likewise gives a frock of livery that is aptly put on. Refrain tonight, and that shall lend a kind of easiness to the next abstinence, the next more easy, for use almost can change the stamp of nature, and either rein the devil or throw him out with wondrous potency. Once more, good night, and when you are desirous to be blessed, I'll blessing beg of you, for this same Lord. I do repent, but heaven hath pleased it so, to punish me with this and this with me, that I must be their scourge and minister. I will bestow him and will answer well the death that I give him. So again, good night. I must be cruel only to be kind. This bad begins and worse remains behind. What's more, good lady?
What shall I do?
Not this by no means that I bid you do. Let the bloat king tempt you again to bed. Pinch wanton on your cheek, call you his moose or mouse, or let him for a pair of reechy kisses, or paddling your neck with his damned fingers, make you to ravel all this matter out, that I essentially am not in madness, but mad in craft. 'Twere good you let him know, for who that's but a queen, fair, sober, wise, but from a paddock, from a bat, a gib, such dear concernings hide? Who would do so? No, and despite of sense and secrecy, unpeg the basket at the house's top, let the birds fly, and like the famous ape, the dry conclusions of the basket creep, and break your own neck down.
Be thou assured, if words be made of breath, and breath of life, I have no life to breathe, what thou hast said to me.
I must to England, you know that.
Alack, I had forgot, 'tis so concluded on.
This letter sealed to my two schoolfellows, whom I will trust as I will adder's fangs. They bear the mandate. They must sweep my way and marshal me to knavery. Let it work, for 'tis the sport to have engineer hoist his with his own petard, and shall go hard, but I will delve 1 yard below their minds and blow them at the moon. But 'tis most sweet when in one line 2 crafts directly meet. This man shall set me packing. I'll lug the guts into the neighbor room. Mother, good night indeed. This counselor is now most secret and most grave. Who is in life foolish prating knave. Come, sir, to draw toward an end with you. Good night, mother.
They exit. The Tragedy of Hamlet, Prince of Denmark, Act 4. Scene 1. Enter King and Queen with Rosencrantz and Guildenstern.
There's matter in these sighs, these profound heaves. You must translate. 'Tis fit we understand them. Where is your son?
Bestow this place upon us a little while. Ah, my good lord, what have I seen tonight?
What, Gertrude? How does Hamlet?
Mad as the sea and wind, when both contend with which is the mightier, in his lawless fit, behind the arras, hearing something stir, whips out his rapier, cries, "A rat, a rat!" and in this brainish apprehension kills the unseen good old man.
Oh, heavy deed. It had been so with us had we been there. His liberty is full of threats to all, to you yourself, to us, to everyone. Alas, how shall this bloody deed be answered? It will be laid to us, whose providence should have kept short, restrained, and out of haunt this mad young man. But so much was our love, we would not understand what was most fit, but like the owner of a foul disease, to keep it from divulging, let it feed even on the pith of life. Where is he gone?
To draw apart the body he hath killed. or whom his very madness, like some ore among a mineral of metal's base, shows itself pure, he weeps for what is done.
Oh, Gertrude, come away. The sun no sooner shall the mountains touch, but we will ship him hence, and this vile deed we must, with all our majesty and skill, both countenance and excuse. Ho, Guildenstern! Ah, friends both. Go join you with some further aid. Hamlet in madness hath Polonius slain, and from his mother's closet hath he dragged him. Go seek him out, speak fair, and bring the body into the chapel. I pray you make haste in this. Come, Gertrude, we'll call up our wisest friends and let them know both what we mean to do and what's untimely done. Whisper over the world's diameter as level as the cannon to his blank transports his poisoned shot, may miss our name and hit the woundless air. Oh, come away. My soul is full of discord and dismay.
They exit. Scene 2. Enter Hamlet.
Safely stowed.
Hamlet, Lord Hamlet.
But soft, what noise? Who calls on Hamlet? Oh, here they come.
What have you done, my lord, with the dead body?
Compounded it with dust where tuned his kin.
Tell us where it is, that we may take it thence to bear it to the chapel.
I do not believe it.
Believe what?
That I can keep your counsel and not mine own. Besides, to be demanded of a sponge, what replication should be made by the son of a king?
Take you me for a sponge, my lord?
Aye, sir, that soaks up the king's countenance as rewards his authorities. But such officers do the king best service in the end. He keeps them like an ape an apple in the corner of his jaw. First mouth to be last swallowed. When he needs what you have gleaned, it is but squeezing you, and sponge you shall be dry again.
I understand you not, my lord.
I am glad of it. Knavish speech sleeps in his foolish ear.
My lord, you must tell us where the body is, and go with us to the king.
Well, the body is with the king, but the king is not with the body. The king is a thing.
A thing, my lord?
Of nothing. Bring me to him. Hide fox and all after.
They exit. Scene 3. Enter King.
I have sent to seek him and to find the body. How dangerous is it that this man goes loose? Yet must not we put the strong law on him. He's loved by the distracted multitude, who like not in their judgment but their eyes. Where 'tis so, the offender's skirt is weighed, but never the offense. To bear all smooth and even, this sudden sending him away must seem deliberate pause. Diseases, desperate grown by desperate appliance, are relieved or not at all. Ah, how now? What hath befallen?
Where the dead body is bestowed, my lord, we cannot get from him.
But where is he?
Without, my lord, guarded, to know your pleasure.
Bring him before us.
Ho, bring in the lord.
Now, Hamlet, where's Polonius?
Oh, at supper.
At supper where?
Well, not where he, but where he is eaten. A certain convocation of politic worms are eaten at him. Your worm is only your emperor for diet. We fat all creatures, or else fat to fat us, and we fat ourselves from maggots. Your fat king, your lean beggar is but variable service. 2 dishes, but 1 table. That's the end.
Alas, alas!
A man may fish with the worm that hath eat of the king, and eat of the fish that hath fed of the worm.
What dost thou mean by this?
Nothing but to show you how a king may go progress with the guts of a beggar.
Where is Polonius?
In heaven. Send hither to see. If your messenger find him not there, seek him in the other place yourself. But indeed, if you find him not within this month, you shall nose him as you go up the stairs to the lobby.
Go, seek him there.
You will stay till you come.
Hamlet, this deed, for thine especial safety, which we do tender, as we dearly grieve for that which thou hast done, must send thee hence with fiery quickness. Therefore prepare thyself. The bark is ready, and the wind at help. The associates 10, and everything is bent for England.
For England?
Aye, Hamlet.
Good.
So is it, if thou knewst our purposes.
I see a cherub that sees them, but come for England. Farewell, dear mother.
Thy loving father, Hamlet.
My mother, my father and mother is man and wife is one flesh, and so my mother. Come for England.
Follow him afoot, tempt him with speed abroad. Delay it not, I'll have him hence tonight. Away, for everything is sealed and done, that else leans on the affair. Pray you, make haste. And England, if my love thou hold'st at aught, as my great power thereof may give thee sense, since yet thy cockatrice look raw and red after the Danish sword, and thy free awe pays homage to us, thou mayst not coldly set our sovereign process, which imports at full, by letters congruing to that effect, the death of Hamlet. Do it, England, for like the hectic in my blood he rages, and thou must cure me, till I know 'tis done, howe'er my haps, my joys will ne'er begin.
Claudius exits. Scene 4. Enter Fortinbras with his army.
Go, captain, from me greet the Danish king. Tell him that by his license Fortinbras craves the conveyance of a promised march over his kingdom. You know, you the rendeverous. If that is majesty would aught with us, we shall express our duty in his eye and let him know so.
I will do it, my lord.
Go softly on.
Good sir, whose powers are these?
They are of Norway. Sir,
How purpose, sir, I pray you?
against some part of Poland.
Who commands them, sir?
The nephew to old Norway, Fortinbras.
It goes against the main of Poland, sir, or some frontier.
Truly to speak, and with no addition, we go to gain a little patch of ground that hath in it no profit but the name. To pay 5 ducats, 5, I would not farm it, nor will it yield to Norway or the Pole. A ranker rate shall it be sold in fee.
Why then the Polak will never defend it?
Yes, it is already garrisoned.
2,000 souls and 20,000 ducats will not debate the question of the strong. This is the imposture of much wealth and peace, that inward breaks and shows no cause without why the man dies. I humbly thank you, sir.
God be with you, sir.
Let it please you go, my lord.
I'll be with you straight. Go a little before. How all occasions do reform against me and spur my dull revenge. What is a man if his chief good and market of his time be but to sleep and feed, a beast no more? Sure, he that made us with such large discourse, looking before and after, gave us not that capability and godlike reason to fuss in us unused. Now whether it be bestial oblivion or some craven scruple of thinking too precisely on the event, a thought which quartered hath but 1 part wisdom and 3 parts coward. I do not know why yet I live to say things to do, sith I have cause and will and strength and means to do it. Examples gross as earth exhort me. Witness this army of such mass and charge, led by a delicate and tender prince, whose spirit within the divine ambition puffed makes mouths at invisible events, exposing what is mortal and unsure, to all that fortune, death, and danger dare, even for an eggshell. Rightly to be great is not to stir without great argument, but greatly to find quarrel in a straw when honor's at stake. How stand I then, that I have a father killed and a mother stained, excitements of my reason and my blood, that all sleep, while to my shame I see the imminent death of 20,000 men, that for fantasy and trick of fame go to their graves like beds, fight for a plot whereon the numbers cannot try the cause, which is not tomb enough and content to hide the slain? Oh, from this time forth my thoughts be bloody or be nothing worth.
Hamlet exits. Scene 5. Enter Horatio, Queen, and a gentleman.
Did you figure it out?
I will not speak with her.
She is importunate, indeed distract. Her moods will needs be pitied.
What would she have?
She speaks much of her father, says she hears there's tricks in the world, and hems and beats her heart, spurns enviously at straws, speaks things in doubt that carry but half sense. Her speech is nothing, yet the unshaped use of it doth move the hearers to collection. They aim at it and bodge the words up fit to their own thoughts, which as her winks and nods and gestures yield them, indeed would make one think there might be thought, though nothing sure, yet much unhappily.
'twere good she were spoken for she may strew dangerous conjectures in ill-breeding minds.
Let her come in. To my sick soul, as sin's true nature is, each toy seems prologue to some great amiss. So full of artless jealousy as guilt, it spills itself in fearing to be spilt.
Where is the beauteous majesty of Denmark?
How now, Ophelia?
How should I, your true love, know? From another one? By his cockle hat and staff and his sandal shoon.
Alas, sweet lady, what imports this song?
Say you? Nay, pray you, mark. He is dead and gone, lady, he is dead and gone. At his head is a grass-green turf, at his heels a stone. Oh!
Nay, but Ophelia.
Pray, mark. White his shroud as the mountains snow. Larded all with sweet flowers, which bewept to the ground did not go with true love showers.
Oh,
Okay. I think it's right. Alas, look here, my lord.
Ah,
Nope. It's Ophelia.
I think Ophelia said her line already.
Right. Say your line again.
How do you, pretty lady?
Well, God did you. They say the owl was a baker's daughter. Lord, we know what we are, but know not what we may be. God be at your table.
Conceit upon her father.
Pray, let's have no words of this, but when they ask you what it means, say you this. Tomorrow is St. Valentine's Day. All in the morning betimes, I'm a maid at your window to see your Valentine. Then up he rose and donned his clothes and tapped the chamber door. Let in the maid, that out the maid never departed more.
Pretty Ophelia.
Indeed, without an oath, I'll make an end on it. I kiss, and by St. Charity, alack and fie, for shame. Young men will do it, if they come to it. By cock they are to blame. Quoth she, before you tumbled me, you promised me to wed. He answers, so would I had done by yonder sun, and thou hadst not come to my bed.
How long hath she been thus?
I hope all will be well. We must be patient, but I cannot choose, but we to think that they should know, to think they would lay him in the cold ground. My brother shall know of it, and so I thank you for your good counsel. Come, my coach. Good night, ladies. Good night, sweet ladies. Good night. Good night.
Follow her close. Give her good watch, I pray you. Oh, this is the poison of deep grief. It springs all from her father's death, and now behold! Oh, Gertrude, Gertrude, when sorrows come, they come not single spies, but in battalions. First her father slain, next your son gone, and he the most violent author of his own just remove. The people muddied, thick and unwholesome in their thoughts and whispers for good Polonius' death, and we have done but greenly in a hugger-mugger to inter him. Poor Ophelia, divided from herself and her fair judgment, without the which we are pictures or mere beasts last, and as much containing as all these. Her brother is in secret, come from France, feeds on his wonder, keeps himself in clouds, and wants not buzzers to infect his ear with pestilent speeches of his father's death. wherein necessity of matter beggared, will nothing stick our person to arraign in ear and ear. O my gentle Gertrude, this, like to a murdering piece, in many places, gives me superfluous death.
Alack, what noise is this?
Attend. Where is my Switzers? Let them guard the door. What is the matter?
Save yourself, my lord. The ocean overpeering of his list eats not the flats with more impietous haste than young Laertes in a riotous head overbears your officers. The rabble call him lord, and as the word were now but to begin, antiquity forgot him, custom known not known, the ratifiers and props of every word. They cried, choose we, Laertes shall be king. Capped hands and tongues applaud to the clouds. Laertes shall be king, Laertes king.
How cheerfully on the false trail they cry. Oh, this counter, you false Danish dogs.
The doors are broke! Ah!
Ow! Where is the king? Sirs, stand you all without. Now let's come in. I pray you, give me leave.
We will.
I thank you. Keep the door. Oh, thou vile king. Give me my father.
Calmly, good Laertes.
That drop of blood that calm proclaims me bastard. Cries cuckold to my father, brands the harlot, even here, between the chaste, unsmirched brow of my true mother.
What is the cause, Laertes, that the rebellion looks so giant-like? Let him go, Gertrude. Do not fear our person. There's such divinity doth hedge a king, that treason can but peep to what it would, acts little of his will. Tell me, Laertes, why thou art incensed. Let him go, Gertrude. Speak, man.
Where's my father?
Dead.
But not by him.
Let him demand his fill.
How came he dead? I'll not be judged with. To hell allegiance, vows to the blacklist devil, conscience and grace, to the profoundest pit. I dare damnation. To this point I stand. That both the worlds I give to negligence, let come what comes, only I'll be revenged most thoroughly for my father.
Who shall stay you?
My will, not all the world. And for my means, I'll husband them so well they shall go for with little.
Good Laertes, if you desire to know the certainty of your dear father, is it writ in your revenge that swoop stake you will draw both friend and foe, winner and loser?
None but his enemies.
Will you know them then?
To his good friends thus wide I'll open my arms, and like the kind life-rendering pelican, repass them with my blood.
Why, now you speak like a good child and a true gentleman. That I am guiltless of your father's death, and am most sensibly in grief for it. It shall as level to your judgment appear as day does to your eye. Let her come in.
How now, what noise is that? Oh, he dried up my brains. Tears 7 times saw burn out the sense and virtue of mine eyes. By heaven, thy madness shall be paid with weight to our scale turn the beam. Oh, Rose of May, dear maid, kind sister, sweet Ophelia. Oh, heaven, is it possible a young maid's wit should be as mortal as an old man's life? Nature is fine in love, and where 'tis fine, it sends some precious instant of itself after the thing it loves.
They bore him barefaced on the bier. Hey, nonny, 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 hey, nonny. And in his grave rained many a tear. Fare you well, my dove?
Hadst thou thy wits, and didst persuade revenge, it could not move thus.
You must sing a down, and you call him a down. Oh, how the wheel becomes it. It is the false steward that stole his master's daughter.
It's nothing more than matter.
There's rosemary, that's for remembrance. Pray you love remember. And there's pansies, that's for thoughts.
A document in madness, thoughts and remembrance fitted.
There's fennel for you and columbines. There's rue for you, and here's some for me. We may call it herb of grace on Sundays. You must wear your rue with a difference. There's a daisy. I would give you some violets, but they had withered all when my father died. They say he made a good end. For bonny sweet Robin is all my joy.
Thought and afflictions, passion, hell itself, she turns to favor and prettiness.
And will he not come again? And will he not come again? No, he's dead. Go to thy deathbed, he never will come again. His beard was as white as snow, all flaxen was his poll. He's gone. He is gone, and we cast away, moan, God have mercy on his soul. And of all Christian souls, I pray God be with you.
Do you see this? Oh, God!
Laertes, I must commune with your grief, or you deny me right. Go but apart. Make choice of whom your wisest friends you will, and they shall hear and judge twixt you and me. If by direct or by collateral hand they find us touched, we will our kingdom give, our crown, our life, and all that we call ours, to you in satisfaction. But if not, be you content to lend your patience to us, and we shall jointly labor with your soul to give it due content?
Let this be so. His means of death, his obscure funeral, no trophy sword nor attachment o'er his bones, no noble rite for formal or ostentation, cry to be heard as 'twere from heaven to earth, that I must call in question.
So you shall. And where the offense is, let the great axe fall. I pray you, go with me.
They exit. Scene 6. Enter Horatio and others.
What are they that would speak with me?
Seafaring men, sir. They say that they have letters for you.
Let them come in. I do not know from what part of the world I should be greeted, if not from Lord Hamlet.
God bless you, sir.
Let him bless thee too.
He shall, sir, and ain't please him. There's a letter for you. It came from the ambassador that was bound for England. If your name be Horatio, as I'm let to know it is.
Horatio, when thou shalt have overlooked this, give these fellows some means to the king. They have letters for him. Ere we were 2 days old at sea, a pirate of very warlike appointment gave us chase. Finding ourselves too slow of sail, we put on a compelled ballad, and in the grapple I boarded them. On the instant they got clear of a ship, so I alone became their prisoner. They have dealt with me like thieves of mercy, but they know what they did. I am to do a good turn for them. Let the king have the letters I have sent, and repair thou to me with as much speed as thou wouldst fly death. I have words to speak in thine ear that would make thee dumb, yet they are too much light for the bore of the matter. These good fellows will bring thee where I am. Rosencrantz and Guildenstern hold their course for England. Of them I have much to tell thee. Farewell, he that thou knowest thine. Hamlet. Come, I will give thee way for these your letters, and do it the speedier that you may direct me, to him from whom you bought them.
They exit. Scene 7. Enter King and Laertes.
I'm not in the right place.
Now must your conscience my acquittance seal, and you must put me in your heart for friend, sith you have heard, and with a knowing ear, that he which hath your noble father slain pursued my life.
It well appears, but tell me, why you proceeded not against these feats, so criminal and so capital in nature, as by your safety, great wisdom, all things else, you mainly were stirred up.
Oh, for 2 especial reasons, which may to you perhaps seem much unsinewed, but yet to me they're strong. The queen, his mother, lives almost by his looks, and for myself, my virtue or my plague, be it either which, she's so conjunctive to my life and soul, that as the star moves not but in his sphere, I could not but by her. The other motive, why to a public count I might not go is the great love the general gender bear him, who, dipping all his faults in their affection, work like the spring that turneth wood to stone, converts his gyves to graces, so that my arrows, too slightly timbered for so loud a wind, would have reverted to my bow again, but not where I have aimed them.
And so I have a noble father lost. A sister driven into deep great terms, whose worth, if praises may go back again, stood challenger amount of all the age for her perfection. But my revenge will come.
Break not your sleeps for that. You must not think that we are made of stuff so flat and dull that we can let our beard be shook with danger and think it pastime. You shortly shall hear more. I loved your father, and we love ourselves. And that, I hope, will teach you to imagine. Oh, how now? What news?
Letters, my lord, from Hamlet. These to your majesty, this to the queen.
From Hamlet? Who brought them?
Sailors, my lord. They say, I saw them not. They were given to me by Claudio. He received them of him that brought them.
Leave us. High and mighty, you shall know I am set naked on your kingdom. Tomorrow I shall beg leave to see your kingly eyes, when I shall first, asking your pardon, thereunto recount the occasion of my sudden and more strange return. Hamlet, what should this mean? Are all the rest come back? Or is it some abuse and no such thing?
Know you the hand?
'Tis Hamlet's character, naked. And in a postscript here, he says, alone. Can you advise me?
I am lost in it, my lord. Let him come. It warms the very sickness in my heart that I shall live and tell him to his teeth, thus didst thou.
If it be so, Laertes, as how should it be so, how otherwise, will you be ruled by me?
I, my lord. So will not overrule me to a peace.
To thine own peace. If he be now returned, as checking at his voyage, and that he means no more to undertake it, I will work him to an exploit now ripe in my device, under the which he shall not choose but fall, and for his death no wind of blame shall breathe, but even his mother shall uncharge the practice and call it accident.
My lord, I will be ruled. The rather if you could devise it so that I might be the organ.
It falls right. You have been talked of since your travel much, and that in Hamlet's hearing, for a quality wherein they say you shine. Your sum of parts did not together pluck such envy from him as did that one, and that, in my regard, of the unworthiest siege.
What part is that, my lord?
A very ribbon in the cap of youth, yet needful too, for youth no less becomes the light and careless livery that it wears than settled age his sables and his weeds, importing health and graveness. 2 months since here was a gentleman of Normandy. I have seen myself and served against the French, and they can well on horseback, but this gallant had witchcraft in it. He grew unto his seat, and to such wondrous doing brought his horse as had he been encorpsed and demi-natured with the brave beast. So far he topped my thought that I in forgery of shapes and tricks come short of what he did.
A Norman was't?
A Norman.
Upon my life, Lamord.
The very same.
I know him well. He is the brute indeed, a gem of all the nation.
He made confession of you, and gave you such a masterly report for art and exercise in your defense, and for your rapier most especial, that he cried out, 'Twould be a sight indeed if one could match you. The scrimers of their nation, he swore, had neither motion, guard, nor eye, if you opposed them. Sir, this report of his did Hamlet so envenom with his envy that he could nothing do but wish and beg for your sudden coming over to play with you. Now, out of this...
What out of this, my lord?
Laertes, was your father dear to you? Or are you like the painting of a sorrow, a face without a heart?
Why ask you this?
Not that I think you did not love your father, but that I know that love is begun by time, and that I see in passages of proof, time qualifies the spark and fire of it. There lives within the very flame of love a kind of wick or snuff that will abate it, and nothing is at a like goodness still, for goodness growing to a pleurisy dies in his own too much. That we would do, we should do when we would. For this wood changes and hath abatements and delays as many as there are tongues, are hands, are accidents. And then this should is like a spendthrift sigh that hurts by easing. But to the quick of the ulcer. Hamlet comes back. What would you undertake to show yourself indeed your father's son more than in words?
To cut his throat in the church.
No place indeed should murder sanctuarize. Revenge should have no bounds, but good Laertes, will you do this? Keep close within your chamber. Hamlet returned, shall know you are come home. We'll put on those shall praise your excellence and set a double varnish on the fame the Frenchman gave you, bring you in fine together, and wager on your heads. He, being remiss, most generous, and free from all contriving, will not peruse the foils, so that with ease, or with a little shuffling, you may choose a sword unabated, and in a passive practice, requite him for your father.
I will do it. And for that purpose, I'll anoint my sword. I brought an unction of a mountebank, so mortal that but dip a knife in it. Where it draws blood, no cat pulls them, so rare, collected from all symbols that have a virtue, under the moon can save the thing from death. That is but scratched withal. I'll touch my point with this contagion, that if I gall him slightly, it may be death.
Let's think further of this. Weigh what convenience both of time and means may fit us to our shape. If this should fail, and that our drift look through a bad performance, 'twere better not essayed. Therefore, this project should have us back or second, that might hold if this did blast in proof. Soft. Let me see. We'll make a wager on your cunnings. I have it. When in your motion, you are hot and dry, as make your bouts more violent to that end, and that he calls for drink, I'll have prepared him a chalice for the nonce, whereupon but sipping, if he by chance escape your envenomed stuck, our purpose may hold there. Oh, but stay, what noise?
A woe doth tread upon another's heel, so fast they follow. Your sister's drowned, Laertes.
Drowned? Oh, where?
There is a willow grows aslant a brook that shows his hoar leaves in the glassy stream. There with fantastic garlands did she come of crow flowers, nettles, daisies, and long purples that liberal shepherds give a grosser name, but our cold maids do dead man's fingers call them. There on the pendant bows her coronet weeds, clambering to hang, an envious sliver broke, when down her weedy trophies and herself fell in one sweeping brook. Her clothes spread wide, and mermaid-like, while they bore her up, which time she chanted snatches of old tunes, as one incapable of her own distress, or like a creature native and endued unto that element. But long it could not be, till that her garments, heavy with their drink, pulled the poor wretch from her melodious lay to muddy death.
Alas, then she is drowned. Too much of water hast thou, poor Ophelia, and therefore I forbid my tears. But yet it is our trick. Nature her custom holds. Let shame say what it will. When these are gone, the women will be out. Adieu, my lord. I have speech of fire that fain would blaze, but this folly drowns it.
Let's follow, Gertrude. How much I had to do to calm his rage. Now I fear this will give it to start again. Therefore, let's follow.
They exit. The Tragedy of Hamlet, Prince of Denmark, Act 5. Scene 1. Enter Gravedigger and another.
Is she to be buried in Christian burial that willfully seeks her own salvation?
I tell thee she is, therefore make her grave straight. The crowner hath sat on her and finds it a Christian burial.
How can that be unless she drowned herself in her own defense?
Why, 'tis found so.
It must be se offendendo, it cannot be else, for here lies the point. If I drown myself wittingly, it argues an act, and an act has three branches. It is to act, to do, to perform. Argal, she drowned herself wittingly.
Nay, but hear you, good man Delver.
Give me leave. Here lies the water, good. Here stands the man, good. If the man go to this water and drown himself, it is, will he, nil he goes. Mark you that. But if the water come to him and drown him, he drowns not himself, Argal. He is that not guilty of his own death, shortens not his own life.
But is this law?
Aye, marry, is it Crowner's quest law?
Will you have the truth of it? If it had not been a gentlewoman, she would not have buried O Christian burial.
Why, thou sayest, and the more pity that great folk should have the countenance in this world to drown or hang themselves more than even the Christian. Come, my spade, there is no ancient gentleman but gardeners, ditches, and grave makers. They hold up Adam's profession.
Was he a gentleman?
He was the first that ever bore arms.
Why, he had none.
What, art a heathen? How dost thou understand the scripture? The scripture says, Adam digged. Could he dig without arms? I'll put another question to thee. If thou answerest me not to the purpose, confess thyself.
Go to.
What is he that builds stronger than either the mason, the shipwright, or the carpenter?
The gallows maker, for that frame outlives 1,000 tenants.
I like thy wit well, in good faith. How does it well? It does well to those that do in. Now thou dost ill to say the gallows is built stronger than the church, Argal. The gallows may do well to thee. To it again, come.
Who builds stronger than a mason, a shipwright, or a carpenter?
Aye, tell me that, and unyoke.
Marry, I can tell now.
To it.
Mass, I cannot tell.
Cudgel thy brains no more about it, for your dull ass will not mend his pace with beating, and when you are asked this question next, say, a grave maker, the houses that he makes last till doomsday. Go get thee to Jorgen and fetch me a stoop of liquor. In youth when I did love, methought it was very sweet to contract, oh, the time for my behove. Oh, methought there was nothing meet.
Has this fellow no feeling of his business? He sings in grave making.
Custom hath made it in him a property of easiness.
'Tis even so. The hand of little employment has the daintier scent.
But age with his stealing steps hath clawed me in his clutch, and hath shipped me into the land as if I had never been such.
That skull had a tongue in it and could sing once. How the knave jousts to the ground as if 'twere Cain's jawbone that did the first murder. This might be the pate of a politician, which this ass now o'erreaches, one that would circumvent God, might it not?
It might, my lord.
Or of a courtier who could say, Good morrow, sweet lord. How dost thou, sweet lord? This might be my lord such a one that praised my lord such a one's horse when he went to beg it, might it not?
Aye, my lord.
Why, even so. And now my lady worms chapless and knocked about the mazzard with a sexton's spade. Here's revolution, and we had the trick to see it. These bones cost no more than the breeding but to play at loggets with them? My make to think on it.
A pickaxe and a spade, four and a shrouding sheet. Oh, a pit of clay for to be made, for such a guest is meet.
There's another. Why may not that be the skull of a lawyer? Where is his quiddities now, his quillets, his cases, his tenures, and his tricks? Why does he suffer this mad knave now to knock him about the sconce with a dirty shovel, and will not tell him of his action of battery? This fellow might be in some time a great buyer of land, with his statutes, his recognizances, his fines, his double vouchers, his recoveries. Is it the fine of his fines and the recovery of his recoveries to have his fine pate full of fine dirt? Will his vouchers vouch him no more of his purchases, and double ones too, the length and breadth of pair and indentured? The very conveyances of his lands will Scarcely lie in this box, and must the inheritor himself have no more? Ha!
Not a jot more, my lord.
Is not parchment made of sheepskins?
Aye, my lord, and calf skins too.
They are sheep and calves which seek out assurance in that. I will speak to this fellow. Whose grave's this, sirrah?
Mine, sir. Oh, a pit of clay for to be made, for such a guest as meet.
I think be thine indeed, for thou liest in it.
You lie out on it, sir, and therefore it is not yours. For my part, I do not lie in it, and yet it is mine.
Thou lie in it to be in it, and say 'tis thine. 'Tis for the dead, not for the quick. Therefore thou liest.
'Tis a quick lie, sir. 'Twill away again from me to you.
What man dost thou dig for?
For no man, sir.
What woman then?
For none neither.
Who is to be buried in it?
One that was a woman, sir, but rest her soul, she's dead.
How absolute the knave is. When we speak by the card of equivocation will undo us. By the Lord, Horatio, this 3 years I've took note of it, the age is grown so picked that the toe of the peasant comes so near the heel of the courtier, he galls his kide. How long hast thou been a grave maker?
Of all the days of the year, I came to that day that our last king Hamlet overcame Fortinbras.
How long is that since?
Cannot you tell that? Every fool can tell that. It was the very day that young Hamlet was born, he that is mad, and sent into England.
Aye, marry, why was he sent to England?
Why, because he was mad. He shall recover his wits there, or, if you do not, it's no great matter there.
Why?
'Twill not be seen in him there. There the men are as mad as he.
How came he mad?
Very strangely, they say.
How strangely?
Faith, even with losing his wits.
Upon what ground?
Why, here in Denmark. I have been sexton here, man and boy, 30 years.
How long will a man lie in the earth ere he rot?
If he be not rotten before he dies, we have many pocky corpses nowadays that will scarce hold the laying in. He will last you some 8 year or 9 year. A tanner will last you 9 year.
Why he more than another?
Why, sir, his hide is so tanned with his trade that he will keep out water a great while, and your water is a sore decayer of your horse undead body. Here's a skull now. This skull has lain in the earth 23 years.
Whose was it?
A horse on mad fellows it was. Who do you think it was?
Nay, I know not.
A pestilence on him for a mad rogue. I poured a flagon on Rhenish on my head once. This same skull, sir, was Yorick's skull, the king's jester.
Yorick? This?
Even that.
Let me see. Alas, poor Yorick. I knew him. Horatio, a fellow of infinite jest, most excellent fancy. He hath bore me on this back 1,000 times. Now abhorred in my imagination is this. My gorge rises at it. He hung those lips that I have kissed. I know not how oft. Where be your gibes now, your gambols, your songs, your flashes of merriment that were wont to set the table in a roar? Not to one now to mock your own grinning, quite chapfallen. Now get you to my lady's chamber and tell her. Let her paint an inch thick to this favor she must come. Make her laugh to that. Prithee, Horatio, tell me one thing.
What's that, my lord?
Dost thou think Alexander looked of this fashion on the earth?
E'en so.
And smelt so?
E'en so, my lord.
To what basis we may use Horatio, may return Horatio? Why may not imagination trace the noble dust of Alexander till he find it not stopping a bunghole?
'Twere to consider too curiously to consider so.
No, faith, not a jot, but to follow him thither. With modesty enough and likelihood to lead it, as thus Alexander died, Alexander was buried, Alexander returneth to earth, to the dust. The dust is earth, of earth we make loam, and why of that loam whereto he was converted might they not stop a beer barrel? Imperious Caesar, dead and turned to clay, might stop a hole to keep the wind away. Oh, that earth which kept the world in awe should patch a wall to expel the winter's flaw. But soft, soft a while. Here comes the king, the queen, the courtiers. Who is this they follow? And with such maimed rites? This doth betoken the course they follow did with a desperate hand fordo its own life. 'Twas a some estate, couched with while and mark.
What ceremony else?
That is Laertes, a very noble youth, mark.
What ceremony else?
Her obsequies have been as far and large as we have warranty. Her death was doubtful, and but that great command, O Westway, the order, she should in ground unsanctified been lodged, till the last trumpet for charitable players, shards, flints, and pebbles should be thrown on her. Yet here she is allowed her virgin cants, her maidens sturmans, and the bringing home of bell and burial.
Must there be no more done?
No more done. We should profane the service of the dead to sing a requiem and such rest her as to peace parted souls.
Lay here the earth, and from her fair and unpolluted flesh may violets spring. I tell the churlish priest, a ministering angel, shall my sister be when thou fliest howling.
The fair Ophelia?
Sweets to the sweet, farewell. I hoped thou shouldst have been my Hamlet's wife. I thought thy bride to bed, have thee decked, sweet maid, and not have strewed thy grave.
Fall 10 times trouble on that cursed head, whose wicked deed the most ingenious sense depraved thee of. Hold thy earth a while, till I have caught her once more in mine arms. Is it still working? So this flat mountain you have made, to o'ertop old Pelion or skyish head of fluid Olympus.
What is he whose grief bears such an emphasis, whose phrase of sorrow conjures the wandering stars to make them stand like wounded hearers? It is I, Hamlet the Dane.
Yeah, but this felt like working. Hang on. Wait. Yep, my one. Yep, you jump up and say. Sorry, I'm lost. Sorry. I'm sorry, everyone. I don't know where we are. Okay. The devil take thy soul!
Thou prayest not well. I prithee take thy fingers from my throat. For though I am not splendid and rash, yet I have in me something dangerous, which let thy wisdom fear. Hold off thy hand.
Pluck them asunder!
Hamlet!
Gentlemen!
Good my lord, be quiet.
Why, I will fight with him upon this theme until my eyelids will no longer wag.
Oh, my son, what theme?
I loved Ophelia. 40,000 brothers could not with all their quantity of love make up my sum. What wilt thou do for her?
Oh, he is mad, Laertes.
For love of God, forbear him.
His wound, show me what thou do. Would weep, would fight, would fast, would air thyself, would drink of Azel, eat a crocodile? I'll do it. Dost thou come here to whine, to outface me with leaping in her grave? Be buried quick with her, and so will I. And if thou pray to mountains, let them throw millions of acres on us, till the ground singeing his pate against the burning zone. Make also like a wart, nay, and thou and now to mouth I'll rant as well as thou.
This is mere madness, and thus a while the fit will work on him, anon as patient as the female dove. When that her golden couplets are disclosed, his silence will sit drooping.
Hear you, sir. What is the reason that you use me thus? I loved you ever, but it is no matter. Let Hercules do what he may. The cat will mew and the dog will have his day.
I pray thee, good Horatio, wait upon him. Strengthen your patience in our last night's speech. We'll put the matter to the present push. Good Gertrude, set some watch over your son. This grave shall have a living monument, an hour of quiet thereby we shall see. Till then, in patience, our proceeding be.
They exit. Scene 2. Enter Hamlet and Horatio.
So much for this, sir. Now you shall see the other. Do you remember all the circumstance?
Remember it, my lord?
Sir, in the heart there was a kind of fighting that would not let me sleep. Methought I lay worse than the Nubians in the bilboes. rashly, and praise be for rashness for it. Let us know our indiscretion sometimes serves us well. When our deep thoughts do pall that should learn us, there's divinity that shapes our ends. Rough hew them how we will.
That is most certain.
Up from my cabin, my sea gown scarfed about me. In the dark, groped I found out them. Had my desire fingered the pack, and in mine withdrew to mine own room again, making so bold my fears forgetting matters to unfold. Their grand commission, where I found Horatio, a royal knavery, an exact command, larded with many several sorts of reasons, importing Denmark's health, and England's too, with such bugs and goblets in my life, that on the supervised no leisure baited, no not to stay the grinding of the axe, my head should be struck off.
Is it possible?
Here's the commission, read it at more leisure. But wilt thou hear how I did proceed?
I beseech you.
Being thus benetted round with villainies, or I could make a prologue to my brains. They had begun the play, I sat me down, devised a new commission, wrote it fair. I once did hold it as our statists do, a basis right fair, and labored much. How to forget that learning? But, sir, now it did me human service. Wilt thou know the effect of what I wrote?
Aye, good my lord.
An earnest conjuration from the king, as England was his faithful tributary, as love between them might, like the palm, might flourish, as peace should still her wheaten garland wear, and stand a comma between her amenities, and many such like aids of great charge, that on the view and knowing of these contents, without debatement further more or less, he should put those bearers to sudden death, not shriving time allowed.
How is this sealed?
Why, even in that heaven was heaven ordinant. I have my father's signet in my post, which is the model of the Danish seal. Fold up the writ in the form of the other. Subscribed it, give it the impression, placed it safely, the changeling never known. Now the next day was our sea fight, and what to this was sequent thou knowest already.
The Guildenstern and Rosencrantz go to it.
Why, man, they did make love to this employment. They're not near my conscience. Their defeat does by their own insinuation grow. 'Tis dangerous when baser nature comes between the past and fell insensed points of mighty opposites.
Why, what a king this is!
Does it not think thee standing now upon? If killed my king and whored my mother, popped in between the election and my hopes, throwing out his angle for my proper life, with such cozenage. Is it not perfect conscience to quit him with his arm? Is it not be damned to let this canker of our nature come in further evil?
It must be shortly known to him from England. What is the business? What is the nature of it? What is the issue of the business there?
It will be short. The interim's mine, and man's life no more than to say one. But I am very sorry, good Horatio, that to Laertes I forgot myself. By the image of my cause I see the portraiture of his. I'll court his favors, but sure the bravery of his grief did put me into a towering passion.
Peace. Who comes here?
Your lordship is right welcome back to Denmark.
I humbly thank you, sir. Dost thou know this waterfly?
No, my good lord.
Thy state is more gracious, for 'tis a vice to know it. He hath much land and fertile. Let a beast be lord of his beasts, and crib shall stand at the king's mess. 'Tis a cough, but I say spacious in the possession of dirt.
Sweet lord, if your lordship were at leisure, I should impart a thing to you from his majesty.
I will receive it, sir, with all diligence of spirit. Put your bonnet to his right use, 'tis for the head.
I thank your lordship, it is very hot.
No, believe me, it is very cold. The wind is northerly.
It is indifferent cold, my lord, indeed.
But yet methinks it is very sultry and hot for my complexion.
Exceedingly, my lord. It is very sultry as were. I cannot tell how, but, my lord, his majesty bade me signify to you that he has laid a great wager on your head. Sir, this is the matter.
I beseech you, remember.
Nay, good my lord, for mine ease and good faith. Sir, here is newly come to court Laertes, believe me, an absolute gentleman, full of most excellent differences, of very soft society and great showing. Indeed, to speak feelingly of him, he is the card or calendar of gentry, for you shall find in him the continent of what part a gentleman would see.
Sir, his defilement suffers no perdition in you, though I know dividing inventorily with does he the arithmetic of memory, and yet but yawn neither in respect of his quick sale. But in the verity of extolment, I take him to be a sole great article in his infusion of such dearth and rareness as to make true diction of him, his semblance, his mirror, and who else would trace him, his umbrage, nothing more.
Your lordship speaks most infallibly of him.
Consummacy, sir, why we rapid gentlemen are more rawer breath?
Sir?
Is it not possible to understand another tongue? You will to it, sir, really.
What imports the nomination of this gentleman?
Of Laertes?
His purse is empty already. All his golden words are spent.
Of him, sir.
I know you are not ignorant.
I would you did, sir. Yet in faith, if you did, it would not much approve me. Well, sir?
You are not ignorant of what excellence Laertes is.
I dare not confess that, lest I should compare with him in excellence. But to know a man well were to know himself.
I mean, sir, for his weapon. But in the imputation laid on him by them in his meed, he's unfellowed.
What's his weapon?
Rapier and dagger.
That's two of his weapons, but well.
The king, sir, has wagered with him 6 Barbary horses, against the which he has impawned, as I take it, 6 French rapiers and poniards, with their assigns, as girdle, hanger, and so. 3 of the carriages, in faith, are very dear to fancy, very responsive to the hilts, most delicate carriages, and of very liberal conceit.
What call you the carriages?
I know you must be edified by the margent ere you had done.
The carriages, sir, are the hangers.
The phrase would be more germane to the matter if we could carry a cannon by our sides. I would it might be hangers till then. Put on 6 Barbary horses against 6 French swords. There are signs and 3 liberal conceited carriages. That's the French bet against the Danish. Why is this all impawned, as you call it?
The king, sir, hath laid, sir, that in a dozen passes between yourself and him, he shall not exceed you 3 hits. He hath laid on 12 for 9, and it would come to immediate trial if your lordship would vouchsafe the answer.
How if I answer no?
I mean, my lord, the opposition of your person in trial.
Sir, I will walk here in the hall, if it pleases majesty. It is the breathing time of day with me. Let the foils be brought, the gentleman willing, and the king holds his purpose. I will win for him, and I can. If not, I will gain nothing but my shame and the odd hits.
Shall I re-deliver you even so?
To this effect, sir, after what flourish your nature will.
I commend my duty to your lordship.
Yours. He does well to commend it to himself. There are no tongues else for his turn.
This lapwing one's array with the shell on his head.
Comply, sir, with his dug before he sucked it. Thus has he and many more of the same breed that I know the drossy age dotes on. Only got the tune of time, and out of habit of encounter a kind of yeastly collection which carries them through the most fanned and winnowed opinions. But do not blow them to the trial; their bubbles are out.
My lord, his majesty, commanded him to you by young Osric, who brings him back to him, that you attend him in the hall. He sends to know if your pleasure hold to play with Laertes, or that you will take longer time.
When it comes to my purposes, they follow the king's pleasure. If his fitness speaks, mine is ready now, or whensoever provided I be so as able as now.
The king and queen and all are coming down.
In happy time.
The queen desires you to use some gentle entertainment to Laertes before you fall to play.
She well instructs me.
You will lose, my lord.
I do not think so. Since you went to France, I have been in continual practice. I shall win at the odds. But thou wouldst think not how ill all's here about my heart. But it is no matter.
Nay, good my lord.
It is but foolery, but it is the such kind of a gain-giving as would perhaps trouble a woman.
If your mind is like anything, obey it. I will forestall the repair hither and say you are not fit.
Not a whit. We defy augury. There is a special providence in the fall of a sparrow. If it be now, it is not to come. If it be not to come, it will be now. If it be not now, and yet it will come. The readiness is all. Since no man of aught he leaves knows, what is it to leave betimes? Let be.
Come, Hamlet, come and take this hand from me.
Give me your pardon, sir. I have done you wrong, but pardon it as you as a gentleman. As presence knows, and you must needs have heard, how I am punished with a sore distraction. What I have done that might your nature honor and exception roughly awake. I here proclaim was madness. Was Hamlet wrong, Laertes? Never Hamlet. If Hamlet from himself be taken away, when he's not himself does wrong, Laertes, and Hamlet does it not. Hamlet denies it. To do it then is madness. To be so, Hamlet is of the faction that is wronged. His madness is poor Hamlet's enemy. Sir, in this audience, let my disclaiming from a purposed evil free me so far from in the most generous thoughts that I've shot my arrow o'er the house and hurt my brother.
I am satisfied in nature, whose motive in this case should stir me most to my revenge. But in my terms of honor, I stand aloof and will no reconcilement till by some elder masters of known honor, I have a voice and precedent of peace to keep my name ungored. But till that time, I do receive your offered love like love and will not wrong it.
And will this brother's wager frankly play? Give us the foils, come on.
Come on, come one for me.
I'll be your foil, Laertes. In my hope into a skill shall, like a star in the darkest night, stick fiery off indeed.
You mock me, sir?
No, by this hand.
Give them the foils, young Osric. Cousin Hamlet, you know the wager?
Very well, my lord. Your grace has laid the odds on the weaker side.
I do not fear it. I have seen you both, but since he is better, we have therefore odds.
This is too heavy. Let me see another.
This likes me well. These foils have all the length.
Aye, my good lord.
Set me the stoops of wine upon that table. If Hamlet give the first or second hit, or quit in answer of the third exchange, let all the battlements their ordnance fire. The king shall drink to Hamlet's better health, and in the cup a union shall he throw, richer than that which 4 successive kings in Denmark's crown have worn. Ah, give me the cups, and let the kettle to the trumpet speak, the trumpet to the cannoneer without, the cannons to the heavens, the heaven to earth. Now the king drinks to Hamlet. Come, begin, and you, the judges, bear a weary eye.
Come on, sir.
Come, my lord.
One.
No.
Judgment? A hit, a very palpable hit.
Well again.
Stay, give me drink. Hamlet, this pearl is thine. Here's to thy health. Give him the cup.
I'll play this bout first. Set it by a while. Come. Another hit. What say you?
A touch. I do confess it.
Our son shall win.
He's fat and scant of breath. Here, Hamlet, take my napkin. Rub thy brows. The queen carouses to thy fortune, Hamlet.
Good, madam.
Oh, Gertrude, do not drink.
I will, my lord. I pray you, pardon me.
It is the poisoned cup. It is too late.
I dare not drink yet, madam. By and by.
Come, let me wipe thy face.
My lord, I'll hit him now.
I do not think it.
And yet, it's almost against my conscience.
Come for the third, Laertes. You do but dally. I pray you pass with your best violence. I am afeard you make a wanton out of me.
Say you so? Come on.
Nothing, neither way.
Have at you now.
Part them, they are incensed.
Nay, come again.
Look to the queen there, ho!
We bleed on both sides. How is it, my lord?
How is it, Laertes?
Why, as a wood up to mine own springs, Osric. I am justly killed with mine own treachery.
What is the queen?
She swoons to see them bleed.
No, the drink. Oh, my dear Hamlet, the drink. I am poisoned.
Oh, villainy, ho! Let the door be locked. Treachery, seek it out.
Where are we? I think this is my line.
Uh-huh.
Wait, okay. It is here, Hamlet. Hamlet, thou art slain. No medicine in the world can do thee good. And in thee there is not half an hour's life. In treacherous instrument is in thy hand. Unbaited and envenomed, the foul praxis hath turned itself to me. Lo, here I lie, never to rise again. Thy mother's poisoned. I can no more. The king is to blame.
The poison venom too? Then venom to thy work!
Treason!
Ah! Oh, you defend me, friends! I am but hurt.
Here, thou incestuous, murderous damned Dane, drink off this potion. Is thy union here? Follow my mother.
Justly served. It is a poison tempered by himself. Exchange forgiveness with me, noble Hamlet. Mine and my father's death come not upon thee, nor thine on me.
Heaven make thee free of it. I follow thee. I am dead, Horatio. Wretched queen, adieu. You that look pale and tremble at this chance, there are but mutes or audience to this act. Had I but time at this fell argent death and this strictness arrest. Oh, I could tell you, but let it be, Horatio. I am dead. Thou livest. Report me in my cause aright to the unsatisfied.
Never believe it. I am more an antique Roman than a Dane. Here's some liquor yet.
As thou to man, give me the cup. Let go, by heaven, I'll have it. Oh God, Horatio. What a wounded name. Things standing thus unknown shall I leave behind me. If thou didst ever hold me in thy heart, absent thee from felicity a while, and in this harsh world draw thy breath in pain to tell my story. What warlike noise is this?
Young Fortinbras with conquest come from Poland to the ambassadors of England gives this warlike volley.
Why die, Horatio? The potent poison quite overcrows my spirit. I cannot live to hear the news from England, but I do prophesy the election lights on Fortinbras. He has my dying voice, so tell him with the occurrence more and less which have solicited. The rest is silence.
Now cracks a noble heart. Good night, sweet prince, and flights of angels sing thee to rest. Why does the drum come hither?
Where is this sight?
What is it you would see? If aught of woe or wonder, cease your search.
This quarry cries of havoc. O proud death, what feast is toward this in thine eternal cell, that though so many prices has a shot so bloody has struck, bloodily it has struck.
Dismal, and our affairs from England come too late. The ears are senseless that should give us hearing, to tell him his commandment is fulfilled, that Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead. Where should we have our thanks?
Not from his mouth. Had it the ability of life to thank you, he never gave commandment for their death. But since, so jump upon this bloody question, you from the Polack wars and you from England are here arrived, give order that these bodies high on a stage be placed to the view, and let me speak to the yet unknown world how these things came about. So shall you hear of carnal, bloody, and unnatural acts, of accidental judgments, casual slaughters, of deaths put upon by cunning and forced cause. And in this upshot, purposes mistook fall on the inventor's head. All this I can truly deliver.
Let us haste to hear it, and call the noblest to the audience. For me, with sorrow, I embrace my fortune. I have some rights of memory in this kingdom, which now to claim my yentage doth invite me.
Of that I shall have also cause to speak, and from his mouth whose voice will draw on more. But lest the same be presently performed, even while men's minds are wild, lest more mischance on plots and errors happen.
Let 4 captains bear Hamlet like a soldier to the stage, for he was likely, had he been put on, to prove to have proved most royal, and for his passage, the soldier music and the right of war, speak loudly for him, take up the bodies, such a sight as this becomes the field, but here shows much amiss. Go abid the soldiers shoot. The end.
The exit. The end. Thank you everyone for coming and watching, and thank you to all our actors. Well done.
Guys, that was so fun. Let's do another one.
Guys,
Absolutely.
Not right now.
Midsummer, and I have a casting. Binyamin is playing Titania. Malka, you are Oberyn. Sarit wanted to play Puck because she didn't want to be Ingenue, so that's totally cool. And then everything else is up to everyone, except for I really want to be Helena, but that's cool. If I'm not, whatever. But I just really want to see Binyamin play Titania and Malka play Oberyn, and that's cool. Like, you make a great bottom.
Let's do the Lion King next.
Polonius would make an awesome bottom.
Let's do the Lion King next. I want to be Simba.
And
Hakuna Matata, what a wonderful phrase.
I don't want to play the same character in every play.
Yes, 4 years ago.
Oh,
It's
you're
Y'all, listen, I got a piece
Is this
out.
still live streaming?
Recording.
Yes, it is.
Yep, we're still on, guys.
Have a good night, y'all.